In a moment, Todd's mom will be.
Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment, at the same time edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. Here's your dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state, now balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, this much wiser kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for a devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling. People's vision get blurring, their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. The introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid, I bet for keep to me. Just relax, and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax.
What's up, y'all? I hope everybody's had a good weekend. Wow, I mean, I needed to relax. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of this song, Relax. Yo, really, I needed to relax. I mean, sometimes I guess my personality is the type that is just like go to it. And that's how I am with most things. I mean, when I actually decide to do something, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. I mean, that matters, of course, if you know how to plan well and you know how to do stuff, if you're good at what you do and the things you do, if you have some skills. But outside of that, for me, doing is just like when I decide to do something, I tend to do it all the way. And so relaxing is important. You forget to relax. Sometimes I forget, and so that song reminds me. By the way, if you like that tune, you can get it on all the streaming platforms. So the song is called Just Relax. And that's by myself, of course, Empirical, aka V Media, right? That's V MEE as in me. That was like a joke, but V Media. Yeah, you can check that out. Empirical, you should look under Empirical, and the track is called Just Relax off of the LP Love and Madness. And that's right, Love and Madness. I mean, think about it. Are you living in a mad world? Well, then, if you're lucky enough to experience love, you've experienced love and madness. So kudos for you. And but by the way, on to our message for the day. Things keep going on, pushing on in the Trump administration. Nonetheless, they're getting more goofier, and they're really if you ask me, they're really breaking down. Sadly enough, or happily enough, if you want them to break down, say yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I want them to break down. I don't give a shit at this point. I mean, enough is enough for me. And I think impeachment is the only logical word there is. And I don't mean impeach like the last time, like impeach, but leave them in there. I mean, impeach and impeach, get them out of there. You know what I mean? Like, just get out, period. And don't come back. And you and all your cohorts, like the boot, like, I believe that's due if you have a brain. Like, if you're an American citizen that thinks our taxes pay for this shit and our ancestors have died for this shit, then, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't be impeaching right about now, unless you're used to taking a whole lot of bullshit, and unless your ancestors are used to taking a whole lot of bullshit. If your ancestors haven't fought for shit and you're an American citizen, I could see why you wouldn't be out to get the boot out too fast, because maybe you're used to bullshit, but I'm not used to it. So, and I wouldn't advise any other American who has deep roots in the United States of America to not be happy and ready to put that boot, to kick that boot, to throw that boot out there, boot their ass out. You know what I mean? Because it is your place. You own it, not them. They work for you. And when a bad employee fucks up, commits fraud and all types of shit, puts people in danger, puts the company in danger. I mean, what are they doing when you embezzle money and shit like this? Isn't there? I mean, is that the kind of company you want to run? Okay, the company is called Your Life, and this is how they're running it. So, I mean, it's up to you how you view things. But in any case, the Trump administration, they doing all kinds of shit. So Letitia James, right? She got her shit. That case that the Justice Department put on her, that got booted. Comey, that case the Justice Department put on him, that got booted. That got thrown out. What else is going on? I mean, how many F-bombs, you know what I'm saying, as in failure, can this administration bring? They dealing with Ukraine. Like, damn, you mean everyone can see what the deal is, and you still trying to, like, I'm sorry, something Putin, whatever Putin has and whatever is in those Epstein tapes, whatever Putin has, because again, the Epstein tapes may not be the only blackmail. I mean, like I've been saying, espionage. See, there's, if you have a honeypot going on like this, and there's evidence, obviously, I mean, it doesn't take much, but for the people that it takes much for, and you just keep needing signs over and over and over, you need someone to drag you to the water. There's signs all over. And, you saw the evidence. Epstein was looking to shop that information. So if he's looking to shop on one, that means he's pretty much comfortable. The way he was talking about shopping Trump shit information was in a very comfortable manner. It wasn't like it was the first time, the way he's talking about it openly. So you could imagine there's also espionage going on. There's also spying going on from other places you don't even know about. Maybe Epstein doesn't know about. You see what I mean? He got a big operation. When you have a big operation, what's the odds of you making sure nothing leaks? What are those odds? Really? You think those odds are like, in his favor? Sorry, that shit just don't exist like that, And when you got that many men and that many victims, you're going to have that many foreign spies to networks. You know what I'm saying? Not just espionage by maybe Epstein, and not just blackmail by Epstein, but many can play that game. I mean, it's really, for me, I look at it like any type of situation at this point I can't figure out. I'm thinking there must be some blackmail. There must be some espionage going on. Like, if you couldn't ever figure out why we keep giving weapons to certain people, Saudi Arabia. I mean, is it really that important? Saudi Arabia? Are they really that important? Obama didn't think so. Obama tried to strike a deal with Iran. I mean, who doesn't like that? Israel didn't like that. Saudi Arabia likely didn't like that, because they're competitors in that region. I mean, but yet certain people seem to always get dragged back into this thing. I mean, when you have Saudi Arabia dog walking your fucking president, you best believe at this point it must be espionage. I mean, you don't even have to guess anymore. Just you could call it a guess if that makes you feel better. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, yeah, I'm guessing, and I could be wrong. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather be wrong from where I sit than wrong from where they sit. You see what I'm saying? Like, because that's really bad if that's what's going on. That's pathetic. And that would be your lifeline, your tax dollars paying for stuff. I mean, you can't get anywhere where the people you entrust are blackmailed. So, having said that, look at Ukraine. You got the Ukraine situation. I mean, that's within the purview of blackmail. Trump is handling that. Does he look like he's doing good handling that? I mean, what has he changed in the Middle East? What has he done different with Saudi Arabia and Israel? Has he been a strong man, Trump, or a weak man? This situation with Ukraine, has he been a strong man or a weak man? I mean, and we're dealing with these Jeffrey Epstein files right at this moment. Is that a coincidence? I mean, are the two together? Are the two intertwined? How Saudi Arabia, how Israel, how Putin treats Trump, Trump-ass Trump. Are those all intertwined in the Epstein files? Are they all? And maybe something else? You tell me. But you got that situation going on, which is hilarious. I mean, then you have more. We also have this shooter, this new information about this shooter that just happens to come up right now. I'm almost feeling like that's definitely a Trump distraction, like a Kash Patel distraction. He's trying to lick more boots, more Trump boot by doing that, trying to give Trump a favor, get some headlines in the media. And the media is doing a horrible job, paying attention to that, trying to cover that. But then there's this Mark Kelly shit. So you got two failures already. Then you got Mark Kelly with Keg Breath, right? Pete Keg Breath, and his embarrassment. I mean, I'm sorry. Fuck you, what's his name? Pete? Yeah, Pete. I mean, I fucking hate that name too. I hate his name, Pete. What the? Listen, Pete. Fuck you. Okay? Like, and everything you're about. Everything you're doing and everything you're about, fuck you. You are a bum. You're a fucking bum. You're a goddamn bum. Like, what a pathetic, drunken man. This motherfucker, I keep saying it all the time. You could have found a crackhead or anywhere, in any fucking alley, that would have done a better job than Pete Keg Breath. Like, flat out. And anybody else in this administration, yo. Crackheads would have saved the country, have more skills saving this country than any of Trump's fucking, any of his administration or any of his cabinet. Like, they all better. Everyone would have been more loyal than these people. These people ain't loyal at all, They do not seem to be good at shit. They don't seem to be good at anything. I mean, do you think they're good at something? I've never seen anything like it before. But in any case, let's check it out. You tell me if you like how this sounds. I mean, look, this is Rubio. But this guy, what is up with this guy? Like, First of all, do you hear what they say? Like they saying that this guy is out of Cuba. That I believe so, and I think they're saying that there's another one also, right? That's out of Cuba. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just there's something about this shit. Who else is it? One other from Texas. They both say they came out of this kind of like communist background, Cuban communist background, and fled, and now their parents fled, and now they're in the U.S. Right? That type of scenario. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I could care less. You know what I'm saying? I know plenty of Cubans that are mad cool. You see what I mean? And they come in different shapes and sizes and colors also, and different political perspectives. You know what I'm saying? So, but this is like, when I see this, it kind of hurts me because on one hand, I mean, it just makes me wonder because on one hand, we got this administration going around trying to check all Hispanic people, or trying to check people that seem Hispanic, have Hispanic names, look Hispanic, sound Hispanic, all of this stuff. Right. And is he actually, I mean, tell me, am I getting this right? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Somebody was talking about, but I appreciate that. But listen, do you guys, I mean, tell me what you feel about this? I mean, it just seems like an awkward moment. I mean, he is like this, I wonder what the fuck. And there's people are saying that he has no loyalty to nothing, that this guy is only about himself. And he is in the middle. Like they're saying he would kiss anybody's ass to get anywhere, period. That's what they're literally saying about Rubio, and which speaks for the situation he's in right now. You see what I mean? But he is supposed to be the lead negotiator for Ukraine. You see what I mean? Like, so to me, it just seems like another kiss ass. But in any case, let's peep this. The only reason why I'm mentioning that he's from Cuba is because this administration is going after first and second generation Hispanics and Americans and immigrants, period. And I'm just pointing that out. Like, he's one of them. I haven't heard him speak out against it. Anybody's rights. You would think if you fled from another, in case I didn't say this right, you would think if you fled from another country, Cuba, in a time where you don't have all these civil rights, you would think you would fight for them when you, in the country you arrived to, right? You would think you would fight for that, right? For your rights, right? You would think that, right? But that's not Mark Rubio right here. So
I want to bring in MS Now's Inez de Cotera in London. Peter Baker is chief White House correspondent for the New York Times and MS Now contributor. Michael McFaul served as U.S. ambassador to Russia and is an MS Now international affairs analyst. His new book is titled Autocrats versus Democrats, China, Russia, America, and the New Global Disorder. It's good to see all of you. Ambassador, you've been involved in many negotiations. What do you make of the way this one is unfolding?
Well, it started off pretty horribly. Because the original document, by all accounts, was written by the Russians.
Damn! Look at this. And you've heard this, right? I mean, you all have heard this, right? This is the same thing that happened before. Every time the U.S. goes to negotiate under Trump, they come back with talking points that are exactly the same talking points that Putin has been mentioning since day one. Over and over and over and over and over. Trump has never diverted from that. And the only time he really did divert from it is when there was an offer of mineral wealth. Here, you can have some of this too, man. See all this? This could be yours. Like, outside of that, he's been verbatim Putin's talking points.
It was most certainly all of Putin's old talking points. You just listed them all there. It's just completely crazy that after 3.5 years of war and countless attempts at negotiating with him, rolling out the red carpet in Alaska, that nothing had changed. Thankfully, however, Secretary Rubio stepped in. It wasn't clear to me that he was in charge of that original document. He's the one sitting in the chair, as you're showing right now, opposite Andrei Yermak. Yermak is the chief of staff, a very close colleague of President Zelensky. And it sounds like they're making progress. And by that, I hope it means some kind of deal that will protect Ukrainian sovereignty, because the document that was floated just a couple days ago was just the opposite of that.
Peter, I want to play a little bit of what the NATO Secretary General said just this morning on Fox News.
Okay, so
what the president tries to achieve, what we all want to achieve.
I just want to let Americans know that, this is how I see it as an American myself that lives in the EU, right? That lives in the Scandinavia and the EU. I live on the Baltic Sea. Russia shares part of that, a part of it. Now, just to let you know, really, Trump, in my view, Trump is just an annoyance. Trump is just playing, he's basically trying to shave the deck or shave the points in the favor of Putin. You see what I mean by shave? Like in a basketball game, when they shave points, it's illegal, obviously, but people do it to gamble and to make money. Some of the players that don't get paid enough or whatever, high college or whatever, right? Sometimes when they get in this trouble, they're in that situation, and shaving just means that you can win or you can lose, but it has to be within a certain point, plus 6 or minus 6 or plus 3 or minus 3. You don't try to push too much either way. You just kind of assist to keep it, just to give it a little tap. That's it, in the direction you want to go to. You don't make any decisive, measured moves that can decide the game. You see what I mean? So Trump, he's basically playing trying to assist Putin's hand in a light way. Just whatever to keep Putin. And so Russia's still in this battle because of Trump, basically. And that makes the world, that makes the situation more dangerous for a lot of people, right? And although there's people that may feel like in the United States, there may be people that don't feel like NATO allies matter, or don't feel like they were getting the lion's share of these deals that come out of defense, that are, how can I say, deals that come out of the Defense Department's security, right, that it provides. You're out of your mind. People that don't think that the U.S. was getting the lion's share of what they're protecting in defense, those trade routes. And this is a trade route issue we're talking about, because Ukraine leads right out into that sea, right, which goes further down and connects with the Mediterranean. You see what I mean? It's a trade route. This is not new. You see what I mean? A lot of these countries on that same trade route used to be Russian, not just Ukraine, used to be parts of Russia, quote unquote. They were colonized, but they became part of Russia. But there's different ethnic groups. You see what I mean? So a lot of people have been breaking off. These groups have been breaking off from Russia for quite some time. You know what I mean? The Soviet Union collapsed. What the hell are they supposed to do? So live under an oppressive regime, and when they're collapsed, is that what they're supposed to do? But a lot of people, Americans, since we're not really accessing, all of us don't even have access to school. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of Americans don't even really pay attention. The news media has been biased in a sense that it doesn't really help Americans know what's going on around the world. You see, it covers the things in a very narrow way. They also, you could say, point shaving in a way, legacy media, right? But yeah. But in any case, having said all that, you should understand that the U.S. has been getting loads of trade deals based on their activity, and working together. They've been building the economy. That's how the U.S. economy was going up at that trajectory. That's part of U.S. policy. That's not an accident. That's not something that one administration decides over the other. That's been the U.S. policy for what? Decades. That's why it's gone up $1 trillion every year. It ain't going up right now. It's at a standstill right now. But before, you see what I mean? This is going to be a major hit for the U.S. It may not be over. It could be repaired, but not if you don't act decisively. But having said that, U.S. can pull out. If you want to pull out, you better understand one thing. All you're doing is allowing Europeans to invest in more of their own weapons capacity. And what that means is they will also be demanding more. That's all that means. Either way, there's going to be an investment. Now, U.S. just lost a lot of money from the EU, because the EU used to buy a lot of their weapons. But now that same money is going into them buying those weapons. That's not great for American weapons manufacturers, and they're a business also. That's not great for them. That's actually down for them. But if that's the way you want it, that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be a situation where Putin wins. You see, you got to understand that it's not going to be that kind of situation. Now, if he wins, it's only with the help of the United States of America. Without the help of the United States of America, Trump running interference, Putin cannot win and would never be able to. But now Trump has put him in the game. Trump keeps allowing him to stay in the game. Think about this. When was the last time any superpower has lost this many lives on one fucking battlefield? World War II. Since then, the U.S. has never lost these kind of lives. They're not even trying to. China hasn't even lost these kind of lives. They're not even trying to. But look at it. Europe hasn't lost this many lives. They're not even trying to. And Russia is trying to. Russia lost more lives. This may as well be World War II for Russia. Like flat out. That's how many lives they lost. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. You don't even know who they're sending out there. You gotta look at this. Who are the people on the battlefield for Russia? These are young people that would never have a shot in society anyway, being thrown out there to be cannon fodder. Simple and plain. How do you deal with your minority group? Put them on the front line. That's how you do it. That's how you deal with them. Put them on the front line so they can die. Then you don't have to worry about them anymore. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Just for Americans to understand that. You see? So let me play more of this now.
Is a durable and lasting peace in Ukraine, a sovereign nation, and the Russians never ever willing to attack Ukraine again.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. Thank you.
In the future.
I guess a key question is the administration's strategy, Peter, better suited for establishing a durable peace or just maybe getting a deal signed as soon as possible?
Well, look, the president is frustrated because he said in last year's campaign repeatedly that he could make peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. That obviously turned out not to be true. Here we are almost a year into his presidency, or a year since the election anyway. And we're not sure if we're there or anywhere close to there. I mean, as the ambassador just put it, those 28 points, were simply absolutely nothing Ukraine could accept. The very first point says Ukraine is guaranteed its sovereignty, and the next 27 points, most of them basically were about ways that Ukraine had to give up its sovereignty. So, the question is whether or not Russia is willing to make any concessions. Certainly, there's no indication that they are. The only concession that Russia seems to be willing to make at this point is that we'll stop bombing you. That's not exactly the kind of guarantee that Ukraine would require to know that this isn't going to happen again, as Secretary General Root just talked about.
So Inez, put this in context for us, because while they're trying to work all of this out, of course, the war goes on.
Yes, it goes on. Hold on. I'm going to let this play a little bit more.
Very much ongoing, Chris. Russia continuing to weaponize winter, targeting Ukraine's energy grid, leaving tens of thousands.
Oh, thank you, Scram. I hear you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I agree also.
Without power on the battlefield. We understand the Russians are making advances in the east, with Russian forces reportedly surrounding key cities in the Donetsk region. If those cities fall, that could pave the way for the Russians to advance north and west. So we're watching that closely. And I think worth pointing out as well, in terms of the situation on the ground in Ukraine, that Zelensky is in a tricky position domestically because of what's known as the Midas operation. That is
I think that that the EU, to be honest with you, all the other NATO nations already anticipated this little offer from Trump. To be honest, I don't think they're, to their credit, they're not going to play it off like that. Like, let me tell you, because if you really are serious about this, you're going to be modest and how can I say this? You're not going to do a whole lot of talking. You're going to not want to appear to be aggressive, overly aggressive, or anything like that. But you could be sure of one thing. On the ground in Europe, all these EU nations have been putting more money into weapons manufacturing and also logistic, sharing of weapons. Like, they're moving. They're not just standing still. You see what I mean? And I think American citizens got to understand that that's what's real. That may really be what's going on. It's not that the EU can't take care of this problem. It's not that the EU can't take care of this problem alone. It's not that they can't. It might look a little different. It might feel a little different. You see what I mean? But make no mistake about it. Putin is a despot dictator. You see what I mean? That's what's going on. And nobody over here wants to be living under any dictators. They want to have elections, free and fair elections. They want to see different groups and different parties from different parties take the lead. You see, that's what they want to see. They want to see progress. They want to see freedom. You see what I mean? They don't want to be told to how they have to be, culturally or otherwise, how they have to live their life. They want to pay their taxes and get their fair share, get the access to the education they need, right? And build lives, continue their way of life, build families, and that's not really going on in Russia, to be honest. There's something else going on there. So it eventually, if the U.S. does not want to step in and take its, you could say almost proper position in this, because it is in the U.S.'s favor, defense and trade wise, greatly, to actually solve this problem in a big way for their allies, with their allies. That could have happened already. You see what I mean? So it's in the U.S.'s favor. So if you need any help with that, understand Trump should be pushing the other way. He should have been the one setting the red tape, the red lines for Russia to not cross. He should have been doing that from day one, and it would have been hella effective. You see what I mean? But something's happening. There's something else going on here. Is it Epstein? That's what people say. That's what Trump said. I mean, that's what Putin says or Russia says. They're saying, yeah, we got some shit on you, Trump.
An extensive anti-corruption investigation that's been ongoing for months that has implicated quite a few members of Zelensky's inner circle. And so that has really weakened Zelensky domestically. He doesn't have quite the same level of public support as he once did. And so that means he's going to have a harder time selling any kind of peace plan going forward. It's going to mean he's also worried about potentially losing the West.
Well, you can see this is one take on it. I don't know what that's all. I mean, people may be talking about some corruption, but I mean, corruption's happening in every government. You got to understand that that's happening. So, but I don't think Ukrainians are so confused about what this war is about and the seriousness of it and the consequences of it. I don't think it's going to come down to a couple $1 million. I don't think it's even going to come down to a couple $1 billion. This is way bigger, you see. But let's
United
continue.
Kingdom, France, and Germany.
This is getting closer to what the EU is about.
Have put forward a counter proposal to U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan for Ukraine with a key number of changes. Sources have confirmed the validity of the draft text to CNN, which was obtained by Reuters. Now, among the key changes, it scraps the language regarding the restriction on NATO, instead stating that Ukraine joining NATO depends on the consensus of NATO members, which does not exist right now. NATO will not permanently station troops in Ukraine during peacetime, instead stationing them in neighbouring Poland. Look, my next guest is Kaja Kallas, the European Union's foreign policy chief. She told the US president's team that any plan without the backing of both Kyiv and Europe will fail. She joins me live from
And that's the facts. That's the facts. And so people that are serious about it, Americans just need to know this. Americans need to be clear about this, because this does affect your standing in the world. It affects, and don't get me wrong, it's not that we're not talking about standing like who's the better in a superficial way, not better, who's best equipped by military might and global reach, networking, trade networking. It's just simple. When you're the big fish, when you're the whale at the table, at any table, you move anything you want to move. Literally. That's what the U.S. has been. And when you don't move on this properly, there's going to be some effects. There's going to be security effects. There's going to be trade effects. And let's just be clear. Putin's goal is control over the Mediterranean Sea. And that is China's goal too. That's their number one goal. You have to understand that. See, if they control the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, they get everything else they need anyway. That's the whole point. And what happens in Ukraine is about controlling the Mediterranean Sea, because the sea, what's the sea that Ukraine sits on? I'm sorry. Let me just pull up the map real quick. Yeah, I should have had that open anyway, especially when we're talking about this, these foreign affair issues, Let's see here. Map, Google Maps. Let's see here. Let me scroll out here. Where is it at? Oh, here we go. Okay. It just took a second to load. Let me roll out of here. Can y'all see this? Boom. Let's pull this up. Let me know if you can see this. Can y'all see that? Okay, so look. Let's go over here. Let's go down. Can we go down a little bit? Okay, that doesn't matter. Oh, I get it. That's this. Okay, so let me go in. Right. So you all can see this, right? This is the Black Sea. And this inlets into where? I'm going to blow it up a little bit more for people to. Here we go. This is Ukraine, right? But this is all they own. When this started, they owned all of this access here. You see what I mean? All of this access here, they owned. And what Russia is trying to do is cut them completely off from the Black Sea. That's what's going on here. Now, look, there's all these other nations here that will be affected by that. You see? This is not a peacemaking situation. This is not a peacemaking situation. You got to understand that. So, but the goal here is this, and this. That's the goal. And you may not understand it, and it's inch by inch, of course, step by step, right? But if you can control this, if you can control all of this, which is exactly what China and Russia are up to, then you're going to make the cost of goods from Asia go this way to Europe. Up here, and around here. You're going to make the cost of goods do that. That's what you're going to do, essentially, by ship, and a similar thing for Brazil. Well, U.S. and South America are, and Central America all have, East and West access, so there is other trade, but this is the situation. So you got to ask yourself, do you want this to happen, or do you not want this to happen? And you have to make a decision about all of this, because all of this is, there's consequences to this right here. What's going on right here will have consequences to this. You see, like, you best believe it. You better believe it. Like 1,000%, period. That's what this is essentially going to come down to. So you be the judge. Europe has 450 million people. The United States has 350 million. right? So as an economic bloc, the EU is big and has a lot of potential. It's 17 trillion, maybe between 14 and 17 trillion. I'm not looking, don't quote me, but in the US is 21 trillion, 23 trillion, something like that, right? It tends to go up 1 trillion a year roughly, right? But the EU is not economically that far behind the US at all. They're not. And you know why that is? Especially because of the numbers. 400 million people paying into one pool. You see what I'm saying? Collectively can get a lot done on Earth. This is not a poor place right now. So you can imagine that there's a lot of things that can come out of this. Oh, okay. I can't really see the map when I blow it up that big. There's a lot that can come out of this because what Russia is doing is putting the EU in a situation where it has to make some choices. Now, here's what happens on Earth when people are competing competing over land, competing over resources, having wars. People want different types of weapons. That's what people want for different types of prices, essentially. So you tell me, do you want a Europe that doesn't invest in weapons? Or do you want a Europe that invests in a whole lot more weapons? This is the choice that's being made right here. Does the U.S. want that? And if you want it, then this is what you're going to get because you're getting it right now and a whole lot more is coming for it. And that will have implications for the globe. So it's just up to you to make, as long as you know what the stakes are, then you can make any choice. That's how I look at it. Let's see here.
EU headquarters in Brussels, and it's really good.
Sorry for that if that took a minute, but I just wanted to try to give my perspective on it. Let me know if you agree to, and also smash the like button for me.
To have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Donald Trump has just posted on social media, quote, "Don't believe it until you see it, but something good just may be happening."
Trump always gives mixed signals. Look at this. He just came off of not even 24 hours before saying that Zelensky, should be. What did he say about that? Zelensky should what? Should be more thankful. Listen, Ukraine, you don't have to be thankful. You don't have to be. We already know you're thankful. No need to. No one's asking you to kiss anybody's ass. Okay, as a human being, as an American citizen, I'm not asking you to kiss my ass. I'm not asking you to kiss our country's ass. We already know that you're grateful. But look, this guy, any person that comes along and keeps telling you, you need to be grateful, is not on your side, number one. And Trump is not on your side. You must understand that. A lot of American people are, a good percentage of American people are, even though we have our issues right now because of Trump also, right? We understand, a lot of us understand the point. You see what I mean? So, I think it's our failure personally. Like life could be easier for you. We could have made life a lot easier for you. We could have made life a lot easier for our allies and ourselves. But we as a people, as American people, chose not to. We chose Trump. And when we chose Trump, we chose for trouble for ourselves and trouble for everybody else, too. And that's what you're basically going to see, until he's gone.
Geneva, he said. What can you tell us about the latest diplomatic developments? Does this something good that Trump is referencing involve the European counterproposal?
It ain't involving shit, man. Let's go.
The Kyiv delegation taking part in talks in Geneva with the U.S. over the weekend isn't even home yet. But already Russia is rejecting the European counterproposal to Donald Trump's.
You see, so this is all predicted. This is all predicted. Click the like button for me, y'all. This is all predicted. This is nothing. I could have predicted all of this because this is what's been going on the whole time. If you remember, if you've been following this, Trump basically has been a failure. He has not put pressure on Putin in any type of way. He has given Putin every bit of help that he's needed. If there was anyone there is no one that would even be able to give him more help than Trump. You see what I'm saying? And that's basically what you're saying. Trump shows no leadership. Putin is dog walking, just like Netanyahu dog walked, just like the Saudis basically dog walk Trump. Everybody's dog walking Trump, and it has to be for a reason. It's not an accident, because if you're a person that is not corruptible, you can't be dog walked like that. You see what I mean? You can't be dog walked like that because they won't have shit on you to dog walk you with. But Trump, look at his behavior. It appears everyone has something on Trump. Everybody, you see? And I'm pretty sure even more people do. I mean, this is bad. When you have corruption on this level, a corruptive figure leading your country, this is what you invite to the table with you. You invite other corrupt people to the table. You see what I mean? Because they know your corrupt shit. You see what I mean? And you drag them with you. You drag all those elements. And Trump has done that, Trump has not been Biden. Putin feared Biden. Putin feared Kamala Harris. Putin fears the United States military. And he's going to come to fear a whole lot. He fears other shit now. He acts like a big man. But one thing Putin does not want is the EU going to war with his ass. Like flat out, That's not what he wants. He doesn't want an aggressive EU. Even if it's not a direct war, he doesn't want a counter war. I mean, Russia's been waging cyber war against, EU nations. Russia doesn't want any get back. They don't want to get back, but Putin is that leader to where he's happy in this kind of narcissistic role. You see what I mean? Like this, he's a short guy. Putin's not tall. How tall is Putin? You could describe it as the Napoleon complex. Let's see here. A little short guy running around with an attitude who will kill you, will kill most people, would try to, if you got a bunch of people around him that are just yes men, then yeah, he's going to kill a whole lot of people. If it's corrupt and it's like a mob, a mafia, then they're just killing people, throwing them out to like nothing, like they didn't matter anyway. But let me see here. How tall is Putin really? He looks very short. Let me put that there. Just and I'm just saying, some of these short people could be goddamn ruthless, They say he's not 5'7". That's a goddamn lie. I'm sorry. Look, some claim he's around 5'2". I believe he's closer to 5'4", 5'5", but he's not 5'7". 5'7" is giving him way too much because, listen, Trump, how tall is Trump? Let's see here. Man, why do these people always lie about their height? How tall is Trump? How tall is Trump? Actually, I mean, who is another leader that he met? We could take a picture. We can pull a picture forward. Okay, look, Trump is 6'3", right? Trump is 6'3". I mean, Trump is 2 inches taller than me. That's what they say. They say it. Okay, so let me see here. Is there? Tops 5'6". Tops 5'6". I won't give him 5'7". Now let me see here. Okay, so they say, all right. So let's pop this one open and just take a look. Can y'all see this again? Boom. Let me see. You guys can see this, right? Okay, so let's see here. Look, they say Trump is 6'3". This is 5. Maybe he's 5'7". Maybe he's 5'7". Maybe he is, but he's still short. He's not the tallest guy. That's what I'm saying, man. What's the height of the average Russian anyway? I'm curious about that. Let me see here. What is the height of the average Russian in Moscow? Let's say Moscow. Let's narrow it down a little bit because, okay, so they say 5'9", and 5'10". Look, women are averaging 5'5", right? 5'4", 5'5". Men are averaging 5'9" to 5'10". So, okay. So in any case, that's good. We got that taken care of. But let's listen to some more.
28-point peace plan to end the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, top EU leaders, meantime, are voicing optimism blended with caution about the newly revised proposal after the first draft was seen as highly favorable to Russia.
EU leaders meeting in Angola on the sidelines of a summit with the African Union say they are committed to providing Ukraine with diplomatic, military, and economic support. Earlier, CNN spoke to the European Union's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, who made reference to the White House plan that, among other things, called for Ukraine to cede territory under its control.
If Russia could conquer Ukraine, they would have already done so. So to offer them something that they even haven't conquered militarily is, offering something on top of what they already have, or what they have achieved on the battlefield. We shouldn't fall into the traps to discuss all what Ukraine should give away, but bring the discussion back to the territory what Russia should concede, because they have started this war and they are doing the killing.
The U.S. president hinted at big progress in the Geneva talks.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, there's people still trying to say, hey, no, NATO started this war. NATO put its troops on the border of Russia and then told the whole world they wouldn't invade, and then they invaded Russia. Didn't y'all see that? There's people that actually say this, even though they saw the exact opposite happen. I mean, if you want people to take you serious at all, you don't line up 100,000 troops on a border, go before the world and say, you must be crazy if you think we're going to invade, and then you invade. I mean, come on, if you still buying Russia shit, you're purposely trying to be stupid. I mean, and that's on you. You could do that.
On a post on social media saying that something.
You'll buy it from anybody, though. If you buy it from Putin, you will buy it from anybody. So expect more of that.
Something good may just be happening in Geneva.
Meanwhile, the war continues. Russia attacked energy facilities across Ukraine overnight, leaving tens of thousands of homes without power. Russia has been regularly striking Ukraine's energy grid, leaving the country without heat and power during the cold months.
Let's bring in CNN State Department reporter Jennifer Hansler. Jennifer, how much optimism is there that this peace plan, obviously it's being revised, started off?
It's not going to work. But in any case, people get a gist of
fall is right
what's going on, and it's going to continue to go on this way for a minute, and we're going to see how it goes. But
just wrote earlier,
I do. There's a lot of Ukrainians. Many Ukrainians have fled Ukraine, obviously, since this last conflict started, and so many of them are living across the world in different places in the U.S. I mean, those of you that are against Ukraine in the U.S. and are pro-Putin, do you like the idea that because of this, one of the costs are that Ukrainians are being spread across the world, even to places like the United States? I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. That just goes for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. And should you want to have it both ways? What type of person wants to have it both ways? And who wants to deal with somebody that wants to have it both ways? I mean, that's extremely annoying. You see what I mean? You can't count on a person or people that want it both ways. You can't count on them for nothing. You see what I'm saying? So I know I wouldn't want nobody like that in my life. Like, you want it both ways? Damn, you want it better than me. Because I don't even ever try to have it both ways. I try to have it one way, and then I stick with it. So you can count on me. So we can do business. So we can hang together. Be accountable, a good person, a person you can count on. But that's not what's going on with Trump here. That's not what's going on with U.S. policy right here. They kind of, the same people that support Trump, they don't see the effect. They don't see how that backfired, because now they're taking in Ukrainians into the U.S. because of this war. And you're taking them in fast. Because of asylum, because it is an actual war. It's, everyone acknowledges it's a war. So it's
earlier on social media, something good may be happening.
More will be coming.
In discussions between the U.S. and Ukraine. It comes less than 24 hours after the president appeared to fume about Ukrainian leaders showing what he called zero gratitude to the United States for its effort.
Put a 1 in the chat if there's Ukrainians living in the United States. Put a 1 in the chat if there's Ukrainians living in the United States. If there's no, if Ukrainians haven't come If they haven't been moving since this war, put a 2 in the chat to the United States.
Efforts to end the conflict.
And anywhere else.
Let's get right to CNN fact checker in chief Daniel Dale with a fact check on this. So, no gratitude, Daniel. What did you find here?
Bullshit. Gratitude. The Ukrainians have always shown gratitude. Nobody's asking you to kiss nobody. You shouldn't have to kiss nobody's ass. Nah, that's wrong. This is another thing where Trump is assisting Putin by trying to demoralize Ukrainians. I'm telling you, as an American citizen, you don't have to thank us anymore. No one that wants to help you wants a thanks every 2 fucking seconds. Okay, we get how serious this is, and you don't have to thank us. Okay, we simply should be trying to do the right thing, period. You see what I mean? And anybody that wants a triple and quadruple and a blah, 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 thanks every fucking second, obviously doesn't care about you. You see what I mean? Obviously, he's not dealing with this situation clearly.
I found, John, that
so fellow Ukrainians, if y'all hear me, an American citizen is saying that to you right now. Don't kiss. No, you don't have to say thank you to us. You've already said enough and you've already done enough. We don't need it. It's okay. We do things for the right reasons. We don't need you to thank us over and over and over like we survive on people kissing our ass. We don't need anybody kissing our asses. Okay, we're not that great ourselves. You see?
This claim is wildly inaccurate. I found more than 70 examples, in which President Zelensky.
And as a man, I don't want nobody kissing my ass, period. Just as a man, just be you. Let's deal with everybody on a one-on-one basis equal. You see what I mean? Like straight up. If I'm not good enough to walk down the street, solve that problem. If you don't know how to act on the street and be polite to people and treat people fairly, hey, the problem can get solved. You see what I mean? But the way Trump is doing things is not how people do things. They don't keep asking you to appease them over and over and over. Man, fuck you. Who the fuck are you, Trump? You're nobody. They got you in the Epstein files. Dude, people are blackmailing your ass. People are shooting at you.
Express gratitude to the United States, to its people, to its leaders, including President.
I mean, this dude, look, this guy will go over there and just will let Saudi Arabia dog walk him, make a fool out of his ass. You know what I mean? Fuck you, Trump. And understand, that's Trump. All American presidents ain't going to do that. That's Trump. And all Americans ain't going to do that. That's Trump. That's his style. You got $1, he'll sell his ass to you.
Trump. Now, people might say, well, I remember him doing this under President Biden, who he was close with. I don't remember him doing it under Trump. In fact, just under half of the examples I found were under President.
All right. So in any case, you see, that won't get solved. That situation's not going to get solved. But again, the United States, we did this to ourselves. We elected Trump, and Trump is fucking our shit up. He's fucking Ukraine's shit up. He's fucking all his allies over at the same time. But understand this, he's also fucking us up too. You see what I mean? And only a brainwashed American wouldn't see that.
Imagine being able to build.
So, yeah, and we're going to continue because it's painfully obvious. I mean, you can't escape it. The trolls can escape it, but that's because they don't exist. They just, exist in the metasphere. But the rest of us, no. Check it out.
Season kicks off.
It's affecting us
This week. Really? Because I feel like it already started. Millions of Americans are bracing for some sticker shock from tariffs and inflation this time around. CNN's Harry Anton is running the numbers.
This is what happened when you got a fucked up president internationally and domestically.
On the state of inflation and the state of how people feel about it. I mean, how do Americans feel about inflation, how it's impacting their lives right now?
They think prices are rising, and it's across different.
And of course, the trolls and Trump think it's different.
Look at this. I mean, just your costs are up versus a year ago. Groceries, 85%. Utilities, 78%. Healthcare, 67%. Housing, 66%. Gasoline, 54%. The bottom line is this. Americans feel like prices are rising in each and every single part of their lives, rising ever climber, and they just don't feel like, Kate Baldwin, that they can catch a break.
The Treasury Secretary in new comments kind of dismissed the impact tariffs is having on inflation, also saying that prices are going to be coming down in weeks. Some other prices are going to be coming down in months. What do Americans think about that?
Yeah, they think he's full of it. That's exactly what they think. I mean, just take a look here. Tariffs raising prices right now. I'm going to come over. Kate's side of the screen, 71%.
How dare you?
How dare I do
Wait
that?
a second. What did you say?
84% of think. I mean,
He says they think the president is full of shit. But the trolls don't. The trolls are going to go over. They're just a suicide cult. They're going to jump in the volcano, drink the Kool-Aid. They're willing to die. The trolls are willing to die.
just take a look here. Tariffs raising prices right now. I'm going to come over. Kate's side of the screen, 71%.
How dare you?
How dare I do that? 84% of Democrats, 74% of independents.
I mean, Trump is the people that voted for Trump essentially voted for suicide. I mean, I hate to say it, but that is what it is. They voted to hurt themselves because you already know Trump was a 34-time felon. You already knew that. Everybody already knew that. A lot of you already knew that there was a deposition out there, right, by a woman that claimed, right, on video, in a deposition done by a lawyer, done by a legal firm, that says that Trump raped her on four different occasions when she was between the ages of 13 and 14. A lot of you already knew that. A lot of you already knew he was the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein, the most prolific sex trafficker and slave, person who committed horrible acts with minors and sex trafficked them, kept them enslaved. A lot of you already knew that was his best friend, and you still vote. You already knew other things. You already knew he had been alleged to being involved in criminal activity with the Russian mob. You already knew that. You already knew, a lot of you knew that the Russian mob rented out the floor right under his in the Trump Tower, his own personal residence. A lot of you already knew that, and you still voted for him because you didn't want to vote for a black woman, and you hate anybody that is associated with somebody that's black, basically, or seems otherwise. You hate Jews also. A lot of you, that's why you voted for Trump, because you hate Jews. Like, I'm talking about American Jews. Like, flat out, we know that. We know that. That's just what it is. You see what I mean? And women in general, but just almost really even more women, because you all vote. You don't even care about fucking women. Like, really, you let women die just because they can't have a fucking abortion. A rapist has more of a chance of having a baby, the baby they want to have in the United States of America, than a woman right now. Like, straight up. But you still voted for it, and that's what you got.
And even a majority of Republicans, when you can get a majority of Republicans to agree with majority.
You can't get trolls to disagree with Trump, though.
Majority of Democrats.
No. They can't do that.
You know that the pain is being felt by the American public right now.
This must be AI.
Now, the Treasury Secretary can try and tell the people something, but they can feel in their pocketbooks. They simply put, don't buy what he and this administration is selling them when it comes to tariffs.
And Harry, one thing we've heard over and over again is
the trolls trust Trump when it comes to tariffs.
The president and many of those around him blaming the Biden administration for where inflation is.
Oh, they're going to blame Biden. They're going to blame Obama. They're going to blame who else? I mean, come on.
Right now. Do people agree with that?
They're going to say Hillary Clinton was drinking baby blood on Epstein Island. They're going to blame little orphan Annie.
No.
Heard over and over again is the president and many of those around him blaming the Biden administration for where inflation is right now.
They're blaming the Biden administration for what's going on in Ukraine. They're blaming the Biden. They blame the Obama administration for that too. They're blaming the Biden administration for the prices right now. But Biden couldn't go back and say, the point is this. See, this is what I don't understand. It's not just who. It's what. And the key thing is, what the fuck are you going to do about it? That's the what. And it shouldn't matter if Trump blames Biden. What should matter is that he can't fix the fucking problem. And if he can't get fix the fucking problem, then why is he there now? Why do you still put up with it? Like, and keep this in mind. This is your fucking problem. This is your fucking problem. Like, you know, this is not just a problem for Trump. You see, this is not just something you can, that's an intellectual conversation. This is really what people have to live out. Paying more for every fucking thing because you elected a president that promised to do the shit that will make sure you pay more for every fucking thing. And why I can say this is because people said it before you elected him. They said it. This is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. You heard it a million times, but because of your own fucking bigotry, you couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear it. You closed your ears and was like, fuck that. I don't want to hear this advice from a nigga. I don't want to hear this advice from a woman. I don't want to hear this advice from some woke person. I just won't listen. Here's what you got. Here's what you got. And stay on that path if you want to get more of this.
People agree with that.
No. You know what? I want to quote Judge Judy, but I'm not going to.
You could get some more Trump.
I'm merely going to try and say it's like they're trying to sell ice up at the North Pole when it comes.
And I'm laughing because, see, the people that want to be, I'm not laughing at the people that are suffering. I'm laughing at the people that pretend they're not suffering. And I'm laughing at the people that are sitting there thinking that everybody is dumb enough to sit there and suffer with them. Like, I wouldn't put up with this shit. This is not my vote. And I'm so happy because I voted for Kamala Harris. Right? I voted for Joe Biden also before that. And Joe Biden, man, respect you big time. And Kamala Harris. But Joe Biden, thank you for your service. I voted for Joe Biden. And, I'm happy because I live outside of the United States. And I will always vote for more access to education, more access to health care for Americans. I would always vote for those things for the liberal, what's called liberal in the United States, what those people call liberal. I will always support that with my vote because I'm free. I'm a free person. But I vote from outside. So I already have those things. I have health care. I have a union job. I have unemployment if I should need it for like 2 years, if I should need it, right? What else? I have education, access to education. Where I live, everyone has access to education. My kids have access to, they could go to university, they can go to college. It's all paid for. It's all within the tax system. The taxes everybody pays every month. When they get their paycheck, that's what pays for it. You see what I mean? And we take home $1,000 more after we pay all of our expenses than Americans do. So Americans pay all that tax and they pay all these expensive prices for all of this shit. And guess what? They take home, they keep less of their actual money after paying for all their expenses and paying for all their taxes. That's dumb. Let me be the one to tell you. That's dumb. That's improper management, but it's dumb because you do it. You vote for this shit. I mean, you have to do the research to find out how dumb it is first before you can even know how to react to it, And the reality of it is that anytime you're getting more for less and keeping more of your money in your pocket than someone else because someone else voted differently than that means you're intelligent. That means you made the right move. So I'm totally happy with my move because it has real consequences and benefits to my life that you are too stupid to want to have for yourself because you're suicidal with your own fucking politic, And we're going to continue to observe this over until the next president is in office. I'm going to be on YouTube breaking this shit down, and I love it. I have to tell you, and thanks to all my supporters, all the subscribers. What is it? I got like 7,000 something subscribers now. I think I got like 3, 4, maybe I got 4. No, I got 5,000 subscribers in 2 months. Thank y'all. I want to thank you all for your support. But let's get back to this.
comes to this. More responsible for the current economy. 62% of Americans say it's Donald Trump. Just 32% say it's Joe Biden. Look, Donald Trump did, in fact, inherit an economy from Joe Biden, but now we are nearly a year into the Donald Trump administration. If the Trump administration is trying to...
It's Little Orphan Annie's problem. Little Orphan Annie did it.
Push the buck over there. The simple...
Scatman Scruthers did it. It's his fault.
Put, the American folks aren't buying it. They say at this point it is Donald Trump's economy, and what is happening in terms of inflation is his response.
Blame it on Mandela.
Stability.
What happens when you become president?
Who knew? You know what?
You inherit the economy.
That's exactly right. If you want the power, you get the power. But with great power comes great responsibility.
Blame it on the Illuminati.
Oh, Harry Anton and the quotes. Thank you so much, my dear.
Is the economy?
Wow. So the economy is, people are feeling it right now. And really, they're going to be, but again, this is all by vote. All by vote. Americans wanted Donald Trump. They wanted him to, they loved him. They loved what he had to say. They loved his, the way he was going to get rid of the DEI, fellow Americans, erase them from history. They love that. They love putting people in their place, putting you women in your place. You didn't deserve this job. You must have got it because you're lazy and you just colored and said, I'm racist and now give me the job. That's how easy it was for you blackets. You could just say racism, 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 and they let you be a 4-star general. You could just say racism, racism, and they just let you be the vice president. It's that easy, huh? Let you to be a prosecutor. It's that easy, huh? That's what they voted for, yo. And they were totally ignorant for it because none of that was true. It was all cap. You know what is true? What's happening to your pockets right now, and you were warned.
Headed for a recession. The Trump administration claims no.
I am very confident.
Economy headed.
What was
Great
that?
responsibility.
Oh, Harry Anton and the quotes. Thank you so much, my dear.
Is the economy?
Did I hear the word, what? Recession? And recession, what rhymes with recession? Depression.
Economy headed for a recession. The Trump administration claims no.
I am very...
Yeah, they always claim no. And listen to this fool. We were listening to him the other day when this was live. He even stuck. Hold on, let me blow this up. This guy... He even gets caught in the matrix, like the machine just stopped on him, like he had a computer glitch or something. I mean, look at this guy. Let's watch him very closely.
Very confident about 2026 because what we are going to see is the president has done peace deals, tax deals, and trade deals, but one big beautiful bill. And to go back to affordability has two components. So it's price of goods and real incomes.
No shit, Sherlock. What the fuck? God damn.
Okay, but that's not how you all are feeling about it. Look at
this dude. He tried to rationalize the motherfucking. He tried to rationalize you not being able to get things at an affordable price. He tried to intellectualize it like you don't know. It comes from affordability and prices. Hello.
At this Pew Research survey, it found that
just talking down to people. That's what that dude does.
Nearly 75% believe economic conditions.
And you pay his bills. Like you literally, he gets a check from you. You hired him to talk down to you like you're stupid. And he's going to continue to do it.
Conditions in the country are fair or
as long as he's in position, he will. That's the game.
Poor. Cost of living, food prices, high inflation among the issues driving.
But you did vote for it, so is he wrong? Are you not stupid? I mean,
those concerns. I'm going to bring in the group chat now to talk about this. I feel like there's a world of pundits out there already that can talk.
Yeah, this is Trump at his best. His genius is being shown here.
About the economy. And I bring this up because the White House tends to say the mainstream media is the one that's saying the economy is bad.
Yeah, but people feel it in prices. The inflation issue is still a big problem, especially heading into the holiday season where people are planning for their meals.
It's the media's fault. It's the left media. That's whose fault it is. Okay, whose fault is this for?
This is big. We have learned that the
whose fault is this?
Department's case against former FBI Director Jim Comey and the New York Attorney General have both been dismissed.
Is that the liberal media's fault? Whose fault is that right there? They've been what? Dismissed? Oh, damn. That's 2 cases he just lost in. Just got dismissed. 2 huge cases.
This is big.
And who filed the paperwork? A bimbo.
We have learned that the Justice Department's case against former
A whole bimbo filed the paperwork.
FBI Director Jim Comey and the
And no, she doesn't have any experience, you know.
New York Attorney General have both been dismissed. CNN's.
Does she have more experience than Letitia James? Nope. Does she have more experience than Comey? Nope. Does she have really any? I mean, you know, the audacity, you know. And what else did you think was going to happen? There's nothing coming of this. There's nothing coming. I mean, this dude is even going after
Have
generals.
learned that the Justice Department's
Retired generals.
case against former
How you going to be a draft dodger and you going after retired generals? What the fuck? But that's Trump.
FBI
His administration. I mean, he got dudes that's coming out of damn National Guard trying to sue 4-star generals that are retired. Yo, I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? Who does that? Who does that? That is fucking retarded. But this is what they voted for, and they fucking knew it. Don't tell me you didn't know. Sure, maybe a certain percentage of you didn't know it, but you were told. You may not have known it, but you were told this is what was going to happen.
Director Jim Comey and the New York Attorney General have.
And when they were told, they were like, nah, that's not true. Don't say that. Da, 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 da. Obama did the same.
Both been dismissed. CNN's Caitlin Polance is covering this. Caitlin, okay, what happened here? I don't know which case you want to take first.
Well, they both are being dismissed, and for essentially the same reason that Lindsay Halligan, the
Left-wing must be left-wing judges. I mean, when they're a Trump judge appointed by him, then what do they say? It's AI.
Eastern District of Virginia interim U.S. attorney sent there by Donald Trump, not Senate confirmed, that she doesn't have the power. What the judge here has found, this is Judge Cameron Curry from South Carolina. She came into the district, heard arguments from both of the lawyers on these cases against Lindsay Halligan's role. They argued that she didn't have the power because she wasn't Senate confirmed, and thus these indictments are invalid. The judge is agreeing with that. Judge Curry is saying that the Attorney General's attempt to install Ms. Halligan as interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia
this case was not going to go anywhere anyway. This is not a winning case, period. You can't win these charges on these people. Just that simple. I mean, Letitia James, it's ridiculous. This stuff has already been discussed, and yet they still brought it to try to file charges for it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Even if the lady knew enough to be able to file charges correctly without misleading everyone. Also, what did she do? She only showed the grand jury half of the fucking indictment. You know what I mean? Like, this is fraud. But even if there was something true, like, for example, Letitia James's thing, man, they've already gone over this. You're allowed to change your mind. When you file paperwork, when you buy a house and you sign it and you say it's for this purpose, it doesn't have to remain it to be that purpose. It can change, and it does. And even you're also allowed to have 2 residences. That can change depending on where you spend your time, and where you spend your time can change. You have that right. You can change from one day to the next and back from the next day to the next. You know, and this is the ridiculous of the charges against her. But in this case, the bimbo couldn't even know how to fucking file the charges correctly. This shit is bullshit. This is terrible. And anybody else in any country listening, be happy you don't have bimbos like this doing the same shit. This is an embarrassment. This means you have no fucking education. Your educational system is fucked up when you have this going on. Or you got something else, an incompetent leadership. Either one.
Was invalid, and because Ms. Halligan had no lawful authority to present the indictment, James Comey's motion is granted, the indictment is dismissed. Now, the judge does mention that this is without prejudice. So in legal speak, that means that it could be brought back by another prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia if they took it through the grand jury again. But everything Lindsay Halligan did at the end of September, beginning of October, and since then.
I should have stopped it before they said her name, because now I know her name. Like Lindsay Halligan. Like, wow, that is deep. I mean, Lindsay, you just fucked up a perfectly fine name, you know, by doing this. Nobody want to be named Lindsay or Halligan after this.
This judge is saying she couldn't have done that. She didn't have the authority. She was not confirmed by Congress, by the U.S. Senate as the Eastern District of Virginia's U.S. Attorney.
In other words, she don't have the credentials. You know what I'm saying? She don't even, I mean, think about this. She's not a minority, right? So there's not a DEI thing there, or is it? Is it a woman thing? But she don't have the credentials, but they don't care. The Trump administration doesn't care. See, if you're a black woman or a woman with the credentials, but you just happen to disagree with their politics, then they remove you and they replace you with someone that has less qualifications. That's what's going on here. And these are the outcomes. And you're paying for it as a taxpayer. This administration is showing you the best they can do for your tax dollars. I mean, and they work for you. These are like bad employees. They're literally bad American citizen employees. American citizens pay their bills, pay them to do a job. Their only job is to make your life better. And this is the best you get for that. For people, you're a loyal payer. You pay them loyally. You show up every time you go to work. You give a fucking percentage of your check to this, and this is the best they got for you. And you vote. A lot of you voted for it. A lot of you voted for that. See, that's the thing. No matter what you vote for, you have to be this. This is poor representation. Like, even if you vote anything you voted for, even if you didn't get it, whatever it is you voted for, even if you voted for this is still done poorly. Like, even if you wanted, that's the thing. If you hated Comey, you believe he was a rat and you wanted to get rid of him, look who you sent to do it. Like, you sent someone with no skills, no qualifications. Like, you're dumb. Like, this is incompetence at its best. At its best.
And thus, the president went out of his bounds, and the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, also
6 cents. I see you, 6. How you doing?
Overstepped her bounds in sending Lindsay Halligan into this district to get these indictments against both Comey and James.
To get those indictments against Comey and James. What is this? She is the interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Wow. Damn, ain't that something? By the way, Trump tried to fire a lot of Virginian federal workers, man. That's fucking up their economy. You know, he didn't think about that. Appointed by Trump after he fired her predecessor. I mean, that's worth noting. Trump didn't like the results. The other person said, man, you can't charge them. This shit ain't going to stick. I've been here for 20, 30 years. It's shit, and I'm telling you, it don't stick. And I've prosecuted a ham sandwich even, and I'm telling you, this ain't going to stick. Trump was like, get the fuck out of here. Fired that person and hired her. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Can I raise a question with Comey? I know that she had made, at least the judge pointed out, a serious error when it came to the grand jury. So what we're saying now is even that mistake that everyone had been talking about, it's moot, because essentially what I'm hearing you say is they're saying she shouldn't have been in the job in the first place.
It may be moot, yes. We still are waiting to see if Judge Nachman.
I mean, this is embarrassing. How else can you talk about it? They have to report on this shit. There's no other way to do it.
The presiding.
What can you say, man? That was great. Her case got thrown out on her. They said it was, oh man, she's doing a great job. Is that how you're supposed to report this shit?
Judge over this case.
Another win for Trump.
It's what he does. He hasn't actually.
And you know that's what Fox is doing right now. Fox is trying to make up a conspiracy on why this is good and shit, and why Trump did great by hiring her.
Into the record yet that the cases are dismissed. We just have this other order from the judge saying that.
Okay, so in any case, it's without prejudice.
I tried everything.
It's without prejudice, so it can be brought up again. So they can, if they get this shit together enough, they can charge her with some bullshit charges that either one, Comey or James, they can charge them with some bullshit charges that ain't gonna work in court anyway. So if they have any luck, if they get somebody more competent.
Case against former FBI Director James Comey has just been dismissed after a judge determined the interim U.S. attorney who brought the case, Lindsay Halligan, was unlawfully appointed. I want to bring in MS Now senior legal reporter
Yo, Eric, I see you.
Lisa Rubin, legal affairs reporter Fallon Gallagher, and Peter Baker stays with
Yo, do me a favor, y'all. Click the like button for me. Thank you.
me. Guys, I was just handed the 29 pages of this. I don't know if either of you is a speed reader, but give us the high points or low points, depending on your perspective here.
There are two, and I should also break, Chris, on our air that this order, it looks as if Judge Cameron Curry has also entered a similar order with respect to Letitia James, who is also being prosecuted by the same office and by Lindsay Halligan in particular. My two high points here are as follows. One, this is a dismissal without prejudice, which means...
Oh, hold on. Somebody said, notice how Trump, Sassy Mo says, notice how Trump is all of a sudden dressed exactly like Mom Donnie. Oh, is he? Oh, I got to check that out. I'm going to check it out.
That the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Virginia has an important choice before it.
You know, exactly. Eric, you see that? You could call me a fascist. I mean, he said it. And Mondami said, yes, he is a fascist. You know what I'm saying? Right? I mean, but this is, look. Yo, I'm sorry, but listen. Do you like someone playing with your money and playing with your time? Because that is what this administration has been doing. Playing with your money and playing with your time and playing you like a fool and a sucker. Like, just straight up. That's what this is. And, you know, if it didn't have the implications of really fucking up your money and fucking up your time, this would be laughable. I'm laughing. I have to find something funny out of this to laugh about. But to be honest with you, every day this guy is in power, Americans are being played as fools. Like, straight up. American citizens, every day this guy's in power means that these congressional members and these senators are complicit in playing the American people like they're fucking fools. And the problem is that there's a lot of American citizens that want to be goddamn fools. And until enough of you get your act together and get out there and say impeach Trump also, you are going to continue to be treated like a fool, like straight up. It's
There is
sad.
a federal statute that allows a case that has been time barred but is dismissed for other reasons to be brought again within a 6-month period of time. Theoretically, that gives the U.S. Attorney's Office then 6 months to bring the
Yeah, he is. I guess he is trying to be like Mondami now. I mean, the one thing about crazy ass Trump is when he's on his crazy shit, he's being real. I mean, this is the real part right here. You see it. He just some copy paste shit. Like, oh, I like that. Mondami's great. I mean, but listen, I love Trump because he tells more truth than his goddamn cabinet. You just got to know how to listen. You know, the cabinet is so busy capping for him that Trump is the only one in the room that's allowed to be truthful in some kind of way, you know, and Trump will tell you, you know, through some kind of sideways talk, who he really is and what he really is about. And you got that on display with Mondami. Like, he showed his cabinet, he showed the Republican Party what he's really about. He's about himself. And he doesn't give a fuck what you think. Like, that is the real Trump. And now he might have a Project 2025 strategy, and he may be willing to do business with all this, you know, and he's a bigot himself. I mean, come on. He's a misogynist. He may not be the worst at every fucking thing, but there's a lot of that shit he's very bad with. But greed is one of the things he's really bad with, and self-centeredness. That's almost above everything else. I mean, you've seen it. So, but in any case, I wouldn't put it past Trump to try to dress up like Mondami now. And I'm laughing at the Republicans. Like, you guys fucking deserve this. You deserve to have that Mondami fucking meeting again. Like, just so he could rub it in your fucking faces. Like, this guy is the person you elected, and you can't count on him. You can't fucking count on him. And that's the story of the Republican Party. I mean, I know I spent some time talking about how fucked up this is for Americans and how some Americans bought into this shit. I know I spent a lot of time on that, but you know, there's another element here, and that is that they bought into it. The people around him, they all make this real. This guy would be nothing if other people were at least as real as him, because then they would step up and get what they want. But they not. These are all people that are corruptible, easily corruptible. You see what I mean? That's what Trump puts around him, and they're there, and he's just showing them now he can flip the script at any fucking second. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, you know?
Against Jim Comey again. But that also means if they do that, they don't get a chance to appeal the ruling with respect to the lawfulness of Lindsey Halligan's appointment.
I mean, the Republican Party is basically done. They're done for what it is. This MAGA thing, I don't know if they're going to split. I don't know what they're going to do, but they have shown their colors, and this is them. This is what their type of thinking brings. You know, they're not aware of Americans. They're not aware of what other Americans think. They're so bigoted that they're not willing to even listen. You see what I mean? And this is what they came up with when they had their opportunity. This is what they came up with. They hated Biden. They hated Kamala. And they came up with this. Like, this is better. No, this is far fucking worse. You voted for Trump. You got some nerve fucking dissing Biden on Kamala Harris. What the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? There's no comparison. There's no fucking comparison. And you should be very, very happy, you people that voted for Trump, that the Democrats and others, you know, are being very, very fucking active. Like in the courts, you know, in the Congress, for whatever that's worth, even though they're the minority party. You should be very fucking happy, because no one else is there fighting for American citizens right now. Zero. There's like one or two Republicans that can get their shit together. You know, then there's, you know, I don't know if you want to call Marjorie Greene Taylor a Republican, but she's not a person that does legislation. She's not that type. You see what I mean? She just votes, but she don't bring any legislation. You know, that wasn't her, you know, so she's not really that skilled at the pen part of it. You see what I'm saying? But let's listen to
asking, well, why would that be so important to them? It's important to them because they have at least 4 other people around the country.
Exactly. Kamala is experienced in all branches of government. These people, like, you got some nerve trying to fucking diss Kamala Harris. Like, are you out? That shit might work on you, but it doesn't work on any serious person with a serious fucking brain. Like, for real. Like, anybody who disrespect Kamala Harris, they need to look in the mirror and ask themselves, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? What have you done? Get the fuck out of here. That's just insanity. You know, people being on the dark web. And we're going to talk about that. Look, I'm almost getting to that part. The dark web, sitting on the dark web, not knowing who they're talking to, believing all kinds of conspiracy theories crafted by different foreign government agents and all of this shit. You know, they fuck around and get so screwed up in the head, they got the nerve to actually think Kamala Harris record is not strong. Like, shit. Like, you crazy. You crazy.
Who are similarly.
Nobody's perfect, but you goddamn crazy. She definitely has strong leadership and experience and knowledge. Like, goddamn, she and even better, she wants to do good. Even better, wants to do good.
Situated, who are appointed by the Attorney General in an interim capacity after that first 120 days.
Oh, somebody said I was a fucking moron. The comment got blocked, and then they say goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. Good riddance. Get the fuck out of here. Beat it, okay?
Under the
and fuck you too.
Statute has elapsed, and so it's very important.
Jump on it.
To this president and this attorney general that its interim U.S. attorneys be able to continue as such. So that's point one. Okay. Point two would be that at the end of the opinion, Judge Curry says very clearly that they don't get to appoint another interim U.S. attorney, but rather that the power, as under the statute, remains with the district court to install an interim U.S. attorney unless and until the president nominates and the Senate confirms someone else. So it's not just that Lindsay Halligan herself can't remain in this position. It's that Attorney General Pam Bondi and the president cannot do this again. They're not entitled to use this.
This is Pam Bondi's mess. This is Trump's mess. They're all goddamn buffoons. This is their work. And Pam Bondi's a bimbo too. I mean, straight up. I mean, she's accepted the role of bimbo because Trump only wants a little, girl that he could throw some makeup on and stand around. Trump don't respect no fucking women. Like, you have to know that. Like, I'm pretty sure these women, even some of them might know that and just be so whacked that hey, fuck it, it's a job, let me take it. It's like, no, you got to have ethics and morals. Like, this guy does not give a goddamn about any woman. He don't even, women are just sex toys to him. Like, you don't get it? Pretty much. He can buy one of those. You know what I'm saying?
Same procedure.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I'm not saying I know, but that's what it looks like to me.
Or process, but rather the district judges.
That's what it sounds like.
Of the Eastern District of Virginia, under the statute in place, are entitled to nominate and choose somebody of their own selection now going forward. And again,
I mean, this is what I think is like, if you don't like Kamala Harris, then why don't you go do it better? That's how I look at it. Do something, and on top of it, it's like, can you please fucking do it better than Trump? Just a little fucking bit. Either that or shut the fuck up. Like, goddamn, your life. All right, I'll put it to you this way. Is your life better right now than it was when Kamala Harris was the vice president? If your life is better right now than it was when Kamala was president, put a 1 in the chat. If your life is worse now than when Kamala was president, put a 2 in the chat. That's what I want to see. My life is still normal because I live outside of the U.S., right? But I'm guessing that a lot of Americans are saying their life was better when Kamala was the vice president. but in case there's some trolls out there or there's some people that are a little slow catching up, let me hear your thoughts on that. Put a 1 in the chat if your life is better right now. If you're an American, also tell me what city you live in. Let me know what city you live in when you tell me too. Like, for example, I live in Copenhagen, Denmark. Let me know where you live when what city you live in or what state you live in. I want to hear this because there's also data. You see what I mean? Like, we can review the data, and we have already. Americans are fucking pissed off about this shit. Look, you already seen the data. I mean, here it is right here. This is what they say. So you may be one of the minorities that don't feel this way. But here it is. Let's take
rising, and it's across different.
How could your life be better with this data? How could your life be better with this data? I'm just saying. What is it about this? Is this something faulty about this data? You see what I mean? Like, what the hell? What the fuck? I mean, what town you live in? Tell me your city. Is your life better now than it was when Kamala was the president? Then tell me what city you from. Put a 1 in the chat if your life is better now, and let me know what city you live in. It's like, what the hell? Let me find. And this way, when we know what town, listen though. But this is so funny. The damn Treasury leader, head of the Treasury Department, had the nerve to tell people to move. What you could do is move to a red state where inflation is cheaper. That was his advice. Duh, the minimum wage is lower also, you dumb motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, this is the kind of advice the Treasury is giving you. And you're paying for it with your own goddamn dollar. Like, damn. Look at this. What does this say on the screen? What does this say? I mean, I'm astonished. I'm shocked, but there is no counter information. There's no counter information to be found out there that disputes this. You see what I mean? Yeah. It says right here, groceries are 85% higher. Is your paycheck 85% higher? No. Utilities, 78% higher. Is your paycheck 78% higher? No. Healthcare, 67% higher. Is your healthcare 67% high? Is your paycheck 67% higher? No. Haven't heard anybody say that. Housing, 66% higher. Is your paycheck 66% higher? Gasoline, 54% higher. Is your paycheck 54% higher? How much do you get paid a year? Let me know. How much do you get paid? How much do you get paid? Let me know what state you live in too. How much do you get paid? Huh? Let me know. Copenhagen, somebody asked me about weed. You can smoke weed in Copenhagen. You can smoke weed in Denmark. It's not illegal to smoke weed. You can have a certain amount in your house. And but it's just illegal to sell it unless it's CBD. CBD is legal, but you can't buy weed here. You're not technically allowed to buy it. You can grow it some in your house, though. I believe maybe not grow, but you can possess. You can possess a certain amount, and it's not a crime. Yeah. Let me see, because I'm just like, let me know, because this is what the numbers say. Now, if you got another source, name your source if this is incorrect. It's just that simple. I don't listen, we adults. You don't have to agree with me with what I say. I'm cool with that. Right? I'm perfectly fine with that. But where's your retort? You know what I'm saying? Where's your counter information? Where's your, where are your links? You can express that in the chat. You don't have to just be like, I don't like this, or that's wrong. I don't agree. Yeah, sure. But just bring us all, enlighten us all if you can in the chat. Those of you that's in the chat, if you think this is wrong, enlighten people. And you don't have to drop a link, but you can name something we can Google, very, very clear. Something that brings us directly to the link we want to be to. Like I can say, CNN, your costs are up, something like that. Let us know. But I know damn one thing for sure. If this was the case here, people would be fucking out of their goddamn mind. They would be voting anybody. You better get on this job fast. But the thing is that the EU isn't. See, the EU is not tariffing its neighbors that grow vegetables. They're not tariffing. They're not tariffing their neighbors that do farming. They're not tariffing people they trade with. So, of course, the prices are going to look different. And they do. We've had a little bit of inflation here, but the government talks about inflation, and they just actually had an election the other day, and they implement measures in to deal with inflation. But it's nowhere near any type of inflation you're seeing in the U.S., y'all. Like, that's facts. You're seeing this is insanity. 85% more is insanity for groceries. Like, listen, anyone can do better. Anyone can do better. And, are the groceries, so I put it to you this, are the groceries cheaper? Put a 1 in the chat if the groceries are cheaper. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if the groceries are cheaper. And let me know what state you live in or city. Put a 1 in the chat if the groceries are cheaper, and let me know what city that is. Let everybody know in the chat what city so they can go buy groceries where you at. What city is the groceries cheaper? I keep seeing somebody in the chat talk about something's cheaper. Well, okay, well, let us know. Where is that? What's the location? Write the location down. Gas cheaper? Give me the address. What the fuck is the address, yo? Help these people in the chat out. You know what I'm saying? They looking for some cheap gas. Don't just say gas is cheaper. Gas is down. Give them the goddamn location. Okay, don't waste their time. What the hell? Somebody said gas is down. Here it says gas is higher, 54%. Somebody in the chat said gas is cheaper. Well, then give people the damn link. What the fuck? What is the address? If you got a grocery store where it's cheaper, give the fucking address. Okay? Stop bullshitting people. Utilities. Let us know what company, where, what state. Healthcare cheaper. Show me. House. Come on, y'all. Throw it in the link. What's the address? You can write an address in the goddamn chat. You can write gas cheaper here. Here's the address. Give me the zip code. But as you can see, ain't none of that coming through the chat. None of that shit is there. You know what I'm saying? Pretty soon they go. I mean, come on. If they can, if some, you gotta also look at this like this. If you believe that something, if you, I'm sure there's one thing you could go find if you look really hard and say, see, matches are cheaper. I'm sure there's one thing you could find and say, see, I told you matches are cheaper. That must mean the economy is down. I'm sure there's one thing. But generally speaking, if generally things are much more expensive, then shut the fuck up. Stop talking about what that one thing. I told you matches are cheaper. Matches are cheaper. Nobody want no motherfucking matches. Yo, why the hell? Again, if you think someplace something is cheaper, leave the goddamn address right now so everybody else in the chat can know what you know. Okay? Because right here on CNN, this looks like the exact opposite of cheaper. Yo, do me a favor, click the like button, yo.
Look at this. I mean, just your costs are up versus a year ago. Grocery.
Look, Sir Oskovich, that's an interesting name. Where are you from? It says gas is way down, so you're 100% wrong. Give us the address. Name the pump, the station, the gas station, Sir Avakash. You just came here. We're asking for people that say things are cheaper. Give us an address so everyone in the chat can go. Give the address. You can fit the address. You don't have to leave a link. You can type the address, Sir Oskovich. Okay? There you go. Sir Oskovich, where's the address? Where's the address? You said gas is way down. Give us the address. Sir Oskovich, leave the address, Sir Oskovich. Everybody ask Sir Oskovich to leave the address, okay? Thank you. Let's see here. Let's go on. Come on.
85%, utilities 78%, healthcare 67%, housing 66%, gasoline 54%. The bottom line is this: Americans feel like prices are rising in each and every single part of their lives, rising ever climber, and they just don't feel like, Kate Baldwin, that they can catch a break.
All right, let's see what else about those prices.
With what we saw in September, the unemployment rate actually ticking up.
Is that true? Is the unemployment rate ticking up, Oskovich? Or is this a complete 100% untrue? If they're hiring, leave the address so people can go. So people can go and get a job, okay? If they're hiring.
And inflation continues to be persistent. And when you get a rising unemployment rate and persistent or rising inflation, what does that equal?
Yeah, that's a damn good question. What does that equal? Look at the dude who's smiling over here to the left. You can't see it. Hold on. Let me make this smaller. That's a funny ass question. Let me play. Hold
persistent, on. And when you get a rising unemployment rate and persistent or rising inflation, what does that equal?
You're looking for a word. It's going to be on my next Macro 101 exam, stagflation. So stag is stagnation. That's when the economy slows. Sometimes when it goes backward. I was just looking at the markets. They're suggesting there's roughly a 1 in 3 chance of a recession over the next year. So that's the stag. Deflation is inflation. When inflation currently has remained stubbornly high, it's stuck at about 3%. The president continues to deny that prices are rising at all. The real question is, how do we get inflation down from 3 to the Fed's target of 2? And that's occurring at a moment when we've got tariffs that are pushing things in exactly the wrong direction.
So the Treasury Secretary just seemed optimistic that 2026 will be a better year. And the Vice President of the United States.
That's another one of those. Just wait 2 more weeks. Just wait 2 more weeks. That's what they've been telling you the whole time when Trump started the tariffs. Just wait 2 more weeks. Even this same guy, the Treasury Secretary, the same dude, he's been saying that the whole time. 2 more weeks. Now it's wait till 2026. Just keep waiting, y'all. And he's spending your dollar. while you're waiting. He's spending your dollar. Now, imagine if somebody who was fixing your roof had the same things to say about the cost. The costs are going up. You get a check, and you're like, damn, why is everything so much more expensive? And the guy's telling you, no, actually, it's cheaper. It's actually cheaper. And you'll see, just wait. You'll see it's going to get cheaper. Just wait. I promise you. You just sign this 12-month contract, this 4-year contract, and you will see the prices go down. Watch. So who would you allow to talk to you like that? Raise your hand. Put a 1 in the chat if you okay with that. Somebody doing business for you and telling you what the Treasury Secretary told you in other terms, like fixing your roof, working on your house, anything like that you need. 4-year contract, right? Would you be happy with any type of person working for you, giving you this same logic? Put a 1 in the chat if you would, because I'm sure somebody wants to also sell you a vacation home also, and a yacht and a mansion. Okay, if you that type of person, because I ain't got that kind of money to waste. I ain't got that. You can't tell me, promise me shit with my money. I'm very cautious about my money, who I give my money to and how. And also, I'm not dumb, so I can research anything I hire somebody for first. You see what I mean? I can pick up the phone, call my buddies, like, how much does this cost? So, that does the same work. You know what I mean? Just because I have a buddy, I can still get information from them. Maybe they charge more than I can afford, but they will give me the information. You see what I mean? So these kind of things, I'm not stingy, but I'm picky. You see what I mean? And I don't like doing business without knowing how things are supposed to be. So if you think this guy, the Trump administration is somebody you want to hire to fix your house, to give you these type of excuses, like, just wait till next year. Now we saying wait till next year. Before it was wait 2 weeks. Just wait till next year. You'll see, if you'll give somebody a contract that involves your money and saving money, if you will give them a next year contract, put a 1 in the chat.
To quote Guns N' Roses, says all we need is a little patience. Listen.
Do you want to take a second to touch?
What? All we need is a little patience. What? Is that literally what he's about to play? Say that
especially
again?
as someone that.
Let me see. Is he about to say that again?
Even though we've made.
No, but now it's not Scott Bassett now. Now it's JD Vance giving you the hustle. He's giving you the shuffle right here. This is the I don't want to tell anybody I don't want to disparage anybody, but this is basically 3-card Monty what they playing. You know what I mean? They're just selling you this bullshit thing. They're selling it to you. There's people involved on the side that's watching everything, and they just keep you involved. You can win. You're gonna win. Just do what he says. Just one more time. You can do it.
Made incredible progress. We understand that there's a lot more work to do, and the thing that I'd ask for the American people is a little bit of patience. This economy.
A little bit of patience. Yeah, y'all got long money. The American citizen has long money. They got time and money to waste. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Damn, I've never run into a job like this in my life. Give me the job. If you're that patient, I would love to have this job. Best job
was
on
not
earth.
harmed in 10 months.
Yeah, Doge no longer exists.
So what do you think? That if Americans wait, things will get better?
Yeah. Ooh.
I just want to take you back to my junior year.
That was a good question.
Will get better?
In 10 months.
So what do you think? That if Americans wait, things will get better?
If Americans wait, will things get better? So if you think things will get better if you just wait, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's bullshit, put a 2 in the chat. Again, if you think waiting, things will get better, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's bullshit, put 2 in the chat.
People is a little bit of patience. This economy was not harmed in 10 months.
Bullshit.
So what do you think? That if Americans wait, things will get better?
Look, he said this economy was not harmed in 10 months. What the fuck is he talking about? They made tariffs. They did shit to change the economy. And now he's trying to act like, no. This economy didn't change in 10 months. Man, all this shit you did? Like, what? This dude destroyed. This is pathetic. This is pathetic. This is just pathetic.
I just want to take you back to my junior.
Anyway, yeah. Again, if you think the prices are better, then give an address. Let people know what the address is so they can go there and buy some stuff where it's cheaper, okay? Because right now it's a goddamn secret.
Survivors of
What's the point in saying where I live, gas is cheaper, and you don't even have an address?
Jeffrey Epstein's
You don't even want your neighbors to know.
abuse, and the American public are still awaiting the full release of the Epstein case files. After moments of delay, President Trump signed a bill passed nearly unanimously by Congress into law last week that compels the Justice Department to make those materials public within 30 days.
And now it's, how many days is this? It's 30 days. They got what, 25 days left? Isn't that it? They got 25 days, right?
Joining us now to discuss this and more is Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland. He is the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. Hi, Congressman. Thank you for coming on the show. So first off, do you have any updates on when the Justice Department plans to release the Epstein files?
No updates, but we are fully expecting and demanding complete disclosure of the Epstein files, just with the names of victims redacted where it's appropriate.
I want to ask you about Democratic Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett. Last week, as you know, there was a failed censure effort over her text with Epstein during an oversight hearing in 2019. He was a known sex offender. She acknowledged Epstein's influence in her line of questioning during that hearing on this show when we had her on, but would not say it was an error in judgment. Here's how you defended her on the House floor last week, so our viewers can listen.
Yeah, actually, the Republicans, man, they've been offering a alternative view on this. Like, there's been some different views. They've said that, for one, that now since it's going to be released, or parts of it, you know, everything except what's redacted is going to be released. Now the Republicans have changed their narrative. Now they're coming out and acting like they're pro-release, right? And that sounds like, yeah, we want them released so we can know what the people that are the real victims versus the ones that are just accusing people and haven't done anything about it. That's the way they're going now. They're saying essentially that the accusers, since they haven't opened civil cases, right, that they must be lying, essentially. That, in other words, it is a hoax, but the hoax is morphing. That's what they're saying. Instead of it just being a hoax, it's a Democrat hoax. Now it's a Democrat hoax where all the women are false because they didn't sue anybody yet. You see what I mean? As if none of them have already come out in public and said they've got death threats. They've been getting death threats the whole time. Let me, I mean, you know, I hate to play some of these victims over, giving their own words over and over and over. I don't like to do that because then it's kind of exploitive. But people have heard, listen, these accounts are horrendous. These things that are being said are horrendous. You know, this is not, these are all women that have said they've gotten threatened. Their families have gotten threatened. And, you know, a lot of different types of hardships they've come across when trying to mention it at all. And many of them did have cases, and that's exactly when the threats started happening. So, you know, this idea that the power dynamics aren't extremely, you know, just opposite. You know, you got billionaires against people that were little girls when they were abused, right? And fell into a sex trafficking ring that the administration can't decide from one day to the next whether it's real or not real, whether there's more people to prosecute or nobody else, whether it's real or hoax. I mean, this administration goes back and forth, period, on the Epstein files. And they're going to continue. I mean, now that it's coming out, they want people to believe that they wanted it to come out. I mean, it's too much shenanigans for the money. But in any case, let's hear some more. What are they saying?
Down another in our series or volumes of the Epstein emails, newly surfaced emails that goes deep into the legal games, the PR games, the high-powered Republican lawyers.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all.
That Epstein relied on, some of whom went on to represent Trump. Also, as Trump DOJ faces this deadline, we have an exclusive tonight with a DOJ vet. But we begin with what is clearly the worst week of Donald Trump's second term. Some see a tipping point. The polls are cratering, the economic confidence plunging, and more Republicans doing something that, if you follow the news, and you're hearing my voice, so you do, or if you've just been around American politics in the second or first Trump term, you've heard over and over Republicans, they won't stand up to him, they're afraid, they certainly won't do it in public on big matters. Well, that's changed. That talking point died a loud and kind of dramatic death this week, with Republicans going from a lot of that to openly defying him. Not a single Republican friend in the Senate would do what he wanted to even slow down that Epstein train this week. Others going further, meaning they could have done that and stopped, but here we are ending the week Friday with more reports of Republicans saying, let's build on the pressure. Let's stake out our power. Let's make sure DOJ understands they will comply with the files, although that could be a court fight. And others saying something you usually hear from the opposition party, that a second-term president is quickly becoming a lame duck as they pass the Epstein files bill that Trump desperately failed to try to block.
Just seconds ago, a landslide vote in the House of Representatives.
The release of the Epstein files has passed the House.
A reckoning over the Epstein files on Capitol Hill.
The Trump presidency, as we have known it, is over.
We're just hearing that Trump has signed the Epstein Act.
Donald Trump put his surrender and humiliation in writing in capital letters.
Troubling signs for President Trump, even within his own party.
That puts his approval really about where his predecessor, Democrat Joe Biden's, was for most of the second half of his term.
This is albatross hanging around the neck of the president.
An albatross that is haunting the approval ratings. These are second-term lows in multiple surveys. So you can check AP, Reuters, or Fox. We're looking at these high 30s, which means he has lost the approval, the support about how he's doing his job from a ton of people who voted for him. That's kind of the difference there when you win around 49, 50, and you find yourself stuck, according to the AP, at 36%. New York Times reports congressional Republicans already beginning to look beyond Trump. That's a headline to end the week that shows how bad a week it was. And these are the first signs of Trump's lame duck status. The report says Trump's previously ironclad grip on the Republican Congress might be weakening earlier than usual, before the more typical loss of power by a sitting president that follows the midterm elections. If what the Times is writing here sounds familiar, it is something we reported on this program about 2 to 3 weeks ago, because this is a story of evidence, not just narrative, as they like to say. And the signs have been building over the past few weeks in the polling and in the Republicans that were countable on the Epstein and other issues. Remember, we only got here because several Republicans joined the Democrats on that petition, that rare special tool to override a sitting speaker, and in this case, also override a sitting president. And so we said, when you look ahead at how the president is polling and how many unpopular things he's done, at the wobbling at parts of the MAGA base podcast sphere, the influencers that we've covered, we show you those clips. We said that what often is a later lame duck precedent, what you see in political science, has hit Trump earlier. And so, yes, Trump has defied certain...
Hey, Bits, good night. Good night. Thanks a lot, Bits. We catch up.
...political laws of gravity to his benefit at times. He is different. His supporters and his opponents all agree he's different. But now we're seeing he's breaking precedent in the other way, where other presidents have benefited from some leeway in the second term. The things he's done this year, and it's a Friday, I'm not going to run through them all, combined with the way that he...
You know what? Somebody said, who was that who said in the chat, some Republicans going to go with Marjorie. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I always call her Green Taylor. That's so funny. But some are going to follow her. But look, let's be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, there's going to be some people that follow her. Look, and I wish Americans could at least be civil towards each other and be fellow citizens, even if they don't agree on policy, still be able to walk down the street and with one agreement that we're all deserving together. You see what I mean? Like, instead of this toxic type of dynamic going on where you belittle other people because of their color, because of their gender, or make fun of people's accomplishments. Like this kind of thing about the United States, kind of this issue with white supremacy and this idea that somehow white people, just in general, and we're not talking about American white people, like these American white people that have been here for generations. Some of them, yeah, but a lot of them are people that are immigrants, like recent immigrants, second, third generation. I mean, seriously, that's people that came long after the Civil War. A lot of them are and don't have deep roots. And I think that dynamic is really stopping the U.S. from having a real national policy for healthcare, a real national policy for education, a real one, a serious one, one that produces something, produces for the future something strong and stable. Right now, you're dealing with a lot of privatization of many basic things like education. I'm sorry, but everyone, no matter if it's privatized or partly privatized or whatever you want to do, it can be done to where everybody has access to any education they qualify for. If you can go in and pass the test, you should be able to take that education and not have a debt over your ass for the rest of your life. I mean, that's pathetic. You're losing academically with that kind of policy. That's where, that's one of the things. And to think that you can just, treat people poorly because of their gender, or think that they're not deserving because of their gender, their sexuality, their color, these kind of things, their religion. I'm sorry, that's so Stone Age. That's so Stone Age, especially for a Western nation. Like, that's bullshit. The United States is behind, and these type of people with this type of thinking have kept it behind. It didn't have to be behind. Everyone else was working to make it better despite these people. But these folks they see themselves as the anti-progress nation, because in their mind, if it's not white, it's not fucking progress. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You're still living in this world that is ridiculous. Look, everyone has contributed to invention, to science. All of humanity has contributed to this moment we live in. There's not one group that controls that takes credit for that. And, this kind of bullshit about white, look, white, you all weren't fucking white 500 years ago, 600 years ago. You weren't white. You were fucking fighting each other. You're willing to do the same things. You're doing the same things. In America, they were burning women for being witches. You know what I'm saying? This, get it straight. You don't just, something as shallow as a color. If you think that's how things work, damn, you're only exposing your own ignorance and your own stupidity. You see what I mean? All people have contributed, men and women have contributed to where we are today and deserve credit. Okay. And if someone else getting credit fucking hurts you so much that you have to vote to make your own healthcare more expensive, to make your own cost of goods more expensive, just because you can't recognize the people that contribute to your life fairly through hard work, just because of that, then you can't help people like that with that kind of thinking. Those kind of people have to be left behind if they want to think that way. Like, those kind of people are going to be left behind. Like, you really are crazy if you think someone is coming to attack. Like Dave Chappelle said, it's like, black people ain't trying to attack white Americans. Like, where did they get this idea that we have to fight? Like, you're the one killing yourselves. You're the ones literally killing your fucking selves. White guy shot Charlie Kirk. And then the day after, people got out there and was like, white man, stand up. White man, stand up. It's a fucking white guy from a white town, from a white family that killed his ass. Like, what the hell is up with that? And this kind of thinking, you get bad results. These are the results you get. You got Trump with that kind of thinking, and you got higher prices with that kind of thinking. That's what it literally does. And it's about time America, the United States, moves past that. It's so boring to be in that stage. Those people hold back progress, and they need to wake up. If they need help to wake up, fine and fair, but you need to take responsibility for your own stupidity. like straight up before it's all over for you. And it can be that way. It can be that way, you know. So, but in any case, let's go on, man. They look at who else they tried to go after. I mean, this is ridiculous.
The Pentagon.
Mr. Mark Kelly. You got Keg Breath going after Mark Kelly. Nobody in the military going after General. This is crazy. I mean, what can you, who could imagine that this is what's going on? Who could imagine that they would do this?
Saying it is now investigating Democratic Senator Mark Kelly.
While the prices are up, they going after Mark Kelly. Is Mark Kelly responsible for the prices being up? Nope. Mark Kelly's not responsible for nothing. Is Mark Kelly responsible for Palestine and Israel still having issues? Nope. Not responsible for that. Is he responsible for Venezuela? No. Is he responsible for the situation in Ukraine? Nope. Is he responsible for the tariffs? No. But this is all they can find time to do, to go around and prosecute people for nothing while you pay the taxes for it. Again, if you are a congressperson that is not saying impeach Trump right now, it doesn't matter what your political party is. If you're not saying that, you are basically happy with American people being ripped off totally, like totally ripped off.
The United States is part of something called the Five Eyes. It's 5 countries: the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. The Five Eyes countries share intelligence in a relatively seamless way. This is an arrangement that originated in World War II. It continues today, and it's really, really important. Members of the Five Eyes like to describe it as the world's oldest and most significant intelligence alliance. Literally decades of these 5 countries, these 5 like-minded nations, freely sharing intelligence with each other about everything from, Soviet spies to terrorism plots to drug trafficking and everything in between. That said, it is not at all clear that the Five Eyes alliance is going to survive the Trump administration. Quote, the United Kingdom is no longer sharing intelligence with the U.S. about suspected drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean because it does not want to be complicit in U.S. military strikes and believes the attacks are illegal. CNN broke the news of the UK's intelligence sharing suspension on Veterans Day this month, reporting, quote, for years, the UK, which controls a number of territories in the Caribbean where it bases intelligence assets, have helped the U.S. locate vessels suspected of carrying drugs so that the U.S. Coast Guard could
Sassy, I see you.
interdict them. The UK's decision marks a significant break from its closest ally and intelligence sharing partner and underscores the growing skepticism over the legality of the U.S. military's campaign around.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. It's like, what, 300 people, something, 400 people watching? Click the like button for me.
America.
It helps everybody else come into the conversation, all right? And by the way, the folks in the chat that think prices are cheaper, I've been asking them to give some addresses for products like gas, groceries, places where they can go to get it cheaper. Some exact addresses, things that they would know if it really is cheaper.
The skepticism is not just coming from our allies, though. It is also coming from inside the U.S. military. The senior military lawyer at Southern Command, which is the combatant command that oversees all the attacks on fishing boats that Trump keeps doing in that region. That senior JAG officer reportedly told his superiors.
Somebody said if the drugs are cheaper, then quit sending the, what is this? If the attacks are illegal on drugs, well, quit sending the damn drugs. Well, a lot of these drug cartels, they're getting, Americans to sell them weapons. Like, seriously, stop selling them weapons. Stop selling them weapons. I mean, that's what they've asked. That's what these governments have asked. They've asked the United States to crack down on illegal gun shipments out of the U.S. to these kind of gangs and cartels, and they're upset about it, too. But does that mean they should bomb your neighborhoods where these people live, where they suspect they live with no court trial, nothing? Is that what you think? Should they bomb inside of U.S. waters? Is that what you're suggesting? Because that would be illegal, too. That's the point. If you don't want it happening to you, you shouldn't do it to other people. It's that simple. But claiming that they're shooting missiles into your neighborhoods. They're not shooting missiles into your town, into your neighborhoods. They're not talking about invading the U.S. for selling guns to them, to their cartels, you know? So, yeah.
That these strikes on these boats were illegal. But he was reportedly overruled and then pushed aside from the decision.
Keep in mind, the person who's Jeffrey Epstein's best friend for 15 years, he's the one running the show. I mean, that can't be good. And that can't be good for everyone who's a yes man who's giving these orders. That can't be good. That can't be good. An alcoholic is giving these orders. Can that be good? No, it can't be good.
Making process.
It can only be bad, and it is bad.
Inside that
and people are going to go to jail. Service members are going to go to jail, military jail, over this. Like, it's that simple. And that ain't going to take long. And listen, when it does, I'm going to be on the internet talking about it and reporting it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm definitely going to, because things going to have to be straightened out. That's not far from now, by the way. That's not going to take a whole lot of time, because the more fed up American people get, the faster this regime is out of power and a new one is in power. And that new one is definitely going to be one that respects security, respects the treasury, and not having little kids, hackers run around through it. A regime that doesn't want billionaires having, getting a lion's share of the U.S. tax dollars. You know what I'm saying? To go fuck off. Corruption to the highest degree. Yeah, a lot of that shit is going to change. And unless you like it the way it is.
Combatant command. NBC News reporting that JAG, that military.
I mean, Elon Musk doesn't want you to have cheaper health care. He doesn't care about these prices. You see what I mean? You're gonna reward people that won't speak out in your time of need? Then you're the fool. You deserve it if that's what you're going to do.
Military lawyer at Southern Command, quote, specifically expressed concern that strikes against people on boats in the Caribbean Sea and the Eastern Pacific could amount to extrajudicial killings and therefore legally expose service members involved in the operations. And if our longstanding allies are pulling out of intelligence...
I mean, put a 1 in the chat if the prices are cheaper. Rachel Maddow says the prices are more expensive. Put a 1 in the chat if the prices are cheaper. Yeah, that's what she says. I'm outside of the U.S. So, I mean, regardless of who's correct or right or wrong, it doesn't change my life. But yeah, because the prices aren't like this. They're not reported to have been 80% higher, 60% higher where I am, And inflation, although we do have inflation, is nowhere near what it's like in the U.S. and it hasn't been like that. It's never anywhere like that. The flat that I live in, I've lived in my flat for 10 years, over 10 years, since 2013, 13 years coming up. I've lived in this flat, the one I'm living in now, right? The price has gone up since then. It's gone up about, let me see. Maybe about $200, something like that, $300 maybe in the last year. $300 has gone up, right? It's somewhat rent controlled, right, in Copenhagen, thanks to the political parties, which are pretty moderate when it comes to pricing and things like that, right? Now, when I came here, right, when I first moved into this place, the cost of a flat in DC was similar to the one I have, right? Over $2,000, something like that too. Mine is like with all the utilities, I don't know what it is, but it's over 2,000, a little over 2,000, you could say, right? Something like, no, it's not a little, it's over 2,000, maybe 2,500, right? That was the price for the same kind of flat some years ago in DC. At the same time. Now that price in DC has tripled. That price in DC for the same amount of time has tripled. You see what I mean? So that's sad. That's real inflation. So here, the housing market there hasn't been inflation like that. In the U.S., it's been extreme. And in the U.S., it's also been, somebody said enjoy your 257. I enjoy them. No, that's not a problem for me. And I'm glad you're here, Ken Papa. Good for you. But if you look at the prices here, no, the inflation, I'm sorry, but the inflation is not as high as in Europe. The inflation has been very, very high in the U.S., and now it just out of the box extreme. And you can only say that it's poor management. Leaders are there to make life better and easier and freer for the citizens. They're not there to get a paycheck. They work for the citizens. But in the U.S., that's not what's happening, actually. So you see the results. You really see the results.
Sharing with us because they think Trump's orders on these boat strikes are illegal. And if U.S. military lawyers,
citizens don't even want this shit, but Trump don't care.
U.S. military lawyers with expertise in the field and in the region, if they are being pushed out of their jobs for saying that Trump's orders against these boats are illegal, well, that might go some distance toward explaining why 6 members of Congress, all of them former military or intelligence officers, decided to release this video about the possibility that Trump might be giving military orders that are illegal.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
This video seems to have touched...
Let me see. How many likes do I got? I got 340 people watching. Yo, do me a favor, y'all. Click the like button. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Nerve with President Donald Trump, who said in response that these lawmakers...
And, I actually had somebody in my comment section, not in this chat, but in the comment section, one of the shorts, saying, trying to explain how, you're not supposed to say it's illegal to tell troops to not follow illegal orders. It's people actually claiming that that's illegal. You're the one being illegal. No, listen, American troops, you work for the American citizens. That's who you work for. That's who pays your bills. Your only job is to protect us and make our life safe. That's your only goddamn job. And since I'm an American citizen, I'm telling each and every one of you, do not follow illegal orders. You will get prosecuted for it. And just do the research. Plenty of Americans in the past have been prosecuted for following illegal orders. It's actually a thing. Okay? And what Trump is doing is somebody's asking you to do something that is, according to international law, illegal, and even according to U.S. law, illegal. Very simple. So go ahead if you want to be prosecuted. I mean, look, there were some American citizens that were in the Iraq war. They got caught later with pictures celebrating, torturing pretty much some Iraqis, right, on video, even though they were fighting the war. I mean, I support the troops. And I know that war wasn't an easy war. I don't necessarily think it was the wisest thing to do. I don't think George Bush responded correctly. Although, military action may have been necessary, but I think they should have took more time dissecting who was involved in these kind of things before taking that action. I don't think that was necessarily the best action. But there were troops that went there and violated even U.S. law, violated military law, violated international law, and they were prosecuted for. Yeah, they were prosecuted. That was the thing. I don't know how many it was, but you should think about the same thing when you're shooting these fishing boats, right? That you might need evidence to prove what you're doing later was not just outright murder, like straight up.
Had committed, quote, seditious behavior, punishable by death. He's calling for sitting members of Congress to be executed for saying that U.S. service members must refuse illegal orders, which in fact is a true thing about U.S. military.
Hey, Trump doesn't, we don't work for Trump. Fuck Trump. Trump works for American citizens. That's his only fucking job, to make American citizens' lives easier. That's his only fucking job, to make our life more freer. That's his job, just like the military. If you're a person who gets paid by the American taxpayer, that's your primary job. If you're not up for the job, fucking quit. But listen, what Trump did, everyone should just say, fuck you, Trump. Exercise your First Amendment right. Fuck you. You're doing a horrible job.
U.S. service members.
Stop committing crimes in our name.
Under the Uniform Code of Military.
And stop giving illegal orders.
Justice. Today, the Pentagon said it is investigating U.S. Senator Mark Kelly, a decorated, retired.
Yeah, so now they want to investigate him. They failed with fucking Letitia, right? They couldn't. They don't even know how to file charges. Like, what the fuck? Like, damn, just take your ass on ChatGPT and write some charges up properly. Figure the rules out. What the fuck? It's written in the law. The law is available if you want to know how to file charges. And this lady couldn't even figure that out. And now look, Pete Hegseth, he's ordering the military prosecute this guy. Man, yo, General Kelly, we with you. Anybody do anything, you're a dumbass loser. Do not listen to Hegseth. Fuck Hegseth. Do not listen to that fool. He might go to jail himself. He might go to jail. Like, straight up. Yeah, because if it turns out that hitting those boats was illegal and Hegseth gave that order, that's what jail time is prescribed for. So yeah, press your luck if you want. Keep listen to these. Go along with it if you want. If you think killing innocent people you're just gonna walk away from, I don't think that's how it works. But yeah, it definitely doesn't work. Now, where we at? Let me get to the another kooky story here. This shit is right here. This is coming out now. I don't know why it's coming out now. I think it's a distraction from what, this Trump thing. But recently, it seems like the FBI has had a lot of nothing to say about the young man who actually killed or took a shot, not killed, but took a shot at Trump. So look at this.
It's been 16 months since a bullet came within inches of taking Donald.
And she's hella biased. Listen to this. She's making it seem like it was a Democrat conspiracy.
Donald Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania.
And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
In that time, we've been told essentially nothing about the psychopathic shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks. The official story that we've been told is that he acted alone, there's no clear motive, no clear ideology, and no digital footprint. None at all. Just weeks after the shooting that also took Corey Compatore's life, then FBI Director Christopher Wray even tried to downplay the assassination attempt, suggesting that a bullet might not have hit Trump after all.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some.
Who said that's downplay? President Trump never showed that. He didn't want to show the records, any type of medical information about that. But who said that's downplaying? Did Trump ever say that they were lying? And that's the thing about it. You can just this is the same argument that now they're trying to say about the victims, because the victims, you see how it's kind of like a double standard. They're saying that if the victims of Epstein, if they didn't do civil cases towards the men that they claim did these acts against, then it means that it didn't happen and that they're lying. But Trump never said this guy was lying. You see? So what does that mean? Does it mean that he's not lying? Does it mean that he's telling the truth? Because Trump never came out and accused them of anything, So there's only one way to settle this type of thing.
Whether or not,
but that's not the point. But this is where it's getting heavy. She's going to make a claim here where she's saying that the Biden administration attempted to cover up information to steer public perception of what is really going on. Check this out.
It's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear.
Extraordinary. He claimed that the FBI found,
and this is Sky News,
nothing in Crooks's online history that pointed to a motive or political ideology. A week later, his deputy, Paul Abate, told Congress there were social media posts that might have been connected to Crooks.
Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe. There were over 700 comments posted.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. I appreciate that.
From this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature.
But is that all that they knew? Or was there much more that the FBI was trying to hide? Miranda Devine reports in the New York Post today, thanks to an enterprising source who uncovered Crooks's hidden digital footprint, we can see the debate misled Congress by omission because he left out an entire section of Crooks's online interactions from January to August 2020 when he did an ideological backflip. He went from a rabidly pro-Trump to rabidly anti-Trump and then went dark, never seeming to post again. Now, Crooks reportedly left more than 700 public comments on YouTube.
Right now, she's claiming that was a secret, that this wasn't talked about, wasn't discussed. This is what she's claiming. Like, it wasn't discussed by him in that hearing, so therefore it's a Democrat hoax.
When he did an ideological backflip. He went from a rabidly pro-Trump to rabidly anti-Trump and then went dark, never seeming to post again. Now, Crooks reportedly left more than 700 public comments on YouTube. In July 2019, he was...
Her accusation is typical to Trump. I mean, they always make these accusations and then bumble every single one of them.
Pro-Trump.
It always points back to, nope, nobody did anything against you. None of these conspiracies you're talking about are the way or the conspiracies that you're claiming they are. They may be about you, but they're not about. There might be a conspiracy, but it's not coming from the other side. You know, that's crazy. I mean, remember, they ran on the platform of the Epstein files, Hillary Clinton drinking baby blood out of Epstein Island. Bill Clinton, the Democrats, the Democrat pedophile, Pizzagate, all that shit. That's what they ran on. Turns out to be mostly about Republicans. Now, I'm not saying there's no Democrats there, but they ran on this. And when Kash Patel ran on this, Trump ran on it. And the moment he became president, he turned about face and did the exact opposite. And they lied to the American people several times. They even came out and said, nope, we've looked through all the files and there's no indication anywhere that there's more crimes going on, that anyone else could be charged. And now they're trying to charge Democrats. Yeah, okay. But this is what people want. And you won't get any better. You're going to get the same outcome as before. It's going to go bad for Republicans. These Epstein files are going to be horrendous for Republicans. Just like this shooting, horrendous for Republicans. Why? Because he was a Trump supporter. Just because he flipped doesn't mean he wasn't a Trump supporter. Look at what he's into. Does it sound like he's some sort of liberal? She doesn't even come to say that. That's the whole point, because he's not. And on top of it, it's just like the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. White guy. Was he a Republican? His whole family was a Republican. Did he support Trump? Yeah, he supported Trump. You think some gay people don't support Trump? You think is that what you think? Because that would be stupid, because a lot of them do, actually. And some of them are congressional members, like flat out. You saw that. You saw Trump pardon one of them. You see? You just saw Trump pardon a gay congressional. Was he a senator or a congressional member? Yeah, convicted of fraud. You just saw that. You know? So, but that doesn't mean he's a liberal. That doesn't mean he's a Democrat, you see. So, but let's listen.
In his post describing Donald Trump as a definition of patriotism, but by January 2020, he began criticizing Donald Trump. And then throughout the summer of 2020, his online rhetoric became increasingly radical and violent. For example, in August 2020, he wrote, IMO, the only way to fight the government is with terrorism-style attacks. Sneak a bomb into an essential building and set it off before anyone sees you. Track down any important people, politicians, military leaders, etc., and try to assassinate them. Now, remember, the FBI told Congress.
Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I know this for sure. The federal government has been warning people about extremists online, the dark web with extremism, with white supremacy organizations internationally communicating together, and the danger is that when you're dealing with the dark web, you don't know who you're dealing with. You're only dealing with a person with a profile. You don't know if it's a foreign agent. You don't know if it's anything, and if you don't know, the internet can also be a dangerous place. If you don't know that, you haven't been listening, because it's been there. The FBI has given warnings loads of time. But the question here is, if you don't listen to the FBI, then how can you blame them? They did warn people about this internet stuff. They told you that the trolling was big and interfered with the elections. They told you that. They said that China, Russia, and Iran had basically interfered with these elections. I mean, in terms of the internet trolling, the disinformation being spread, right? They said that. They've also issued warnings about the dark web and kids people being radicalized through the net, right? And but do people listen? Do people listen? A person like me, I would never want. I'm intelligent enough to know that if you go online and search how to make a bomb, that's probably not the way to do it if you want to make a bomb. Okay, first of all. But secondly, I'm smart enough to know that everyone on the net is not a real person. Some of these people are dangerous. Some of these people are agents. Some of these people are trolls hired by troll farms. Any of that. But the dark web, oh, that's definite. The dark web is definitely a lot of criminal activity, all types of criminal activity, including individuals that will easily take advantage of a young impressionable kid, that hasn't really lived any life, that thinks in really simple terms. You see what I mean? Like, that's what's there.
Back in July last year, they did not have any prior information.
But she's acting like she ain't know none of that, because if you do know about it, you can report about it.
Now, remember, the FBI told Congress back in July last year they did not have any prior information about crooks. Now, bombshell information has come to light.
She's saying this is a bombshell. Listen to the bombshell now.
About some of Thomas Crook's interests. They include his interest in furries and exploring gender identity. He also described himself with the pronouns they, them. It's also been revealed that Crooks interacted with a person by the name of Willy Tepes, who is a member of the Norwegian neo-Nazi group, the Nordic Resistance Movement, which has since been designated a terrorist organisation. Now, Willy Tepes reportedly encouraged violence, using the phrase, political power comes from the barrel of a gun, which Thomas Crooks repeated shortly after Crooks' interaction with Tepes. Crooks disappeared offline. I mean, why are we learning?
So, you see? So, whoever told you that there's not white supremacists in other parts of the country? Listen, I even said it in one program that I had. Listen, they're not. They do have these organizations there, and they do communicate through the dark web, right? Because then they can be protected to some degree, right? They have more protection than the average internet. But here's the thing. They've had plenty of plots where they've said they wanted to create race wars, a race war in the U.S. and a race war throughout Europe, too. That's known. That's a known fact. And one of the things that they said they'd be willing to do is to what? Kill liberals or kill Republicans. Kill a Republican leader and make it look like it's a Democratic leader. And why? To start a civil war. I mean, that's been out there. That's there in plain sight. If you haven't heard that theory, you've heard it now. Heed the warning. Go investigate it yourself and ask yourself why you never heard that before, because I've said that a few different times on my channel. Not just recently, a week ago, a year ago. You see what I'm saying? And after. So, and where do I get the information? It's online. I mean, the FBI has talked about this shit. The FBI. Just go read the FBI files. Go read the FBI statements, and you will find out about it. It's through there. It's through there. It's what your tax dollars pay for. So it's available. But in any case, let's hear a little more about
learning this now. Why are we only learning about these developments and his interests now? The American people have been demanding.
Look, she's like, why are we only learning about this now? Why are we only learning? I mean, shit develops. Jeffrey Epstein, she could talk about why are we only learning about it now? Why are you only learning about Jeffrey Epstein now? Jeffrey Epstein files ain't even out yet. And this shit just happened. This happened a year ago. And she's like, why are we only learning about it now? Well, if you're investigating stuff, do you tell the people who you're investigating that you're investigating them? Do you warn them? Or do you investigate? And if you're not going to lock somebody up or you don't know who it is totally yet, then do you warn them? So this is an example. I think this is just total Kash Patel distraction, essentially.
Producers, Output is having the biggest.
He's actually been good at helping Trump, Kash Patel, on numerous occasions. I guess he knows that that's his only way out of this situation.
I pray for his wife, Erica, children, the whole family. God bless you, Charlie Kirk. I've asked Director Patel for an update today on this matter. As we proceed with the hearing, Director Patel, I'd like to note that you've agreed to one 10-minute round of questioning. That's more time than your predecessor agreed.
So this is something that does come from Patel. Hold on, let me see something. It does come from Patel, but hold on, let me go to the
questions remain more than 16 months after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump here last summer. Questions about the security and about the young man from Bethel Park who pulled the trigger. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Rice. Tonight, some answers about Thomas Crooks and what led up to the attempt on the president's life. Lauren Linder joins me with that new information. Lauren.
Ken, nearly 1 year ago, a House task force investigating the shooting at the Trump rally released its final report, highlighting failures among the Secret Service and its partners in law enforcement. But it excluded any details about the man who fired the shots and whose motive remains unknown.
I don't know where all this information was and why it couldn't be divulged.
Republican Congressman Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Republicans, they don't know why it couldn't be divulged. I mean, essentially, they need a scandal from nowhere to cover up the FBI, the Epstein files, and the FBI saying we're going to release them, and then no, the FBI saying there's no one else to prosecute, and now they're prosecuting Democrats. So they found a convenient thing. But the truth of the matter is that you could be sure plenty of people knew and discussed it openly because it is a fact. Right. You could safely assume, I don't know where they get this information about he's trying to experience transgender life. But to me, it's like it doesn't even matter because there's people there's LGBTQ that are Republicans. So just so you know that. And if you didn't know that, I mean, damn, just take a look at the ones Trump pardoned. But Trump just pardoned one. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to guess. You don't have to guess. It's just a fact of life. They like to be conservative and not talk about it all the time, but it's there and they vote, and a lot of times they're voting against anti-LGBTQ laws, which is crazy. It's crazy. But in any case, you can't expect people to tell you who they are. You know what I mean? That's not how it works in that community. All gay people, gay men, don't come out of the closet and tell you they're gay men, even if they're congressional members that are Republicans. They don't all do that. Some of them are on the down low. Some of them have wives and kids and then do this stuff on the down low. It just is what it is. But let's just hear his frustration about it.
Mike Kelly chaired the task force investigating the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler. He says when they released their report last December, he knew it was incomplete, but it was what they had.
We were working on very limited time, and we were trying to get answers to the American people. I think the more that they stonewalled us,
it's likely the Charlie Kirk killer and this other guy who took a shot at Trump, that they were on the dark web. Basically, that's what's going on, and when you're on the dark web, there's people that pretend to be people they're not. There's people that pretend to be Americans there, and really can be like a Russian spy or a Chinese spy or someone pretending, that they have some interest in this, or they could be some white supremacist from another European country or Western country. You don't know, but that's known by the FBI. That's not a secret. The FBI has talked about that in the past. It's what I expected this to come out.
Then we thought there's something there that we're not hearing.
He says that stonewalling came from the feds, who he believes could have shared the information we're learning now. In the past several months, CBS News uncovered the shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, was appearing to lead 2 lives, revealing emails showing Crooks was applying to transfer to a 4-year engineering program, while at the same time designing a bomb. Now the New York Post is reporting Crooks had a digital footprint, showing an increasing obsession with violence through increasingly radical comments and artwork. The outlet says their sources discovered several email addresses linked to Crooks and used them to find accounts connected to him on various online platforms, including YouTube, Snapchat, PayPal, Discord, Chess.com, Quora, and DeviantArt, a social network known for sharing fan art. It describes his online activity goes back to his time in high school, with his posts being almost exclusively pro-Trump, while he also made a number of violently anti-Semitic comments and racist remarks about Hispanic immigrants. But in 2020, his thoughts on Trump seemed to switch, with comments on his disappointment of Trump's handling of the pandemic. That's when the outlet says he looked up.
It's the same dynamic, that's going on right now with Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? There's part of MAGA, half of MAGA that basically isn't happy with Trump, and for a lot of different reasons, and have turned. And this was during the election. This is before the election. You heard this kind of stuff. I mean, this kid is not the only one. As a matter of fact, I even think people like Nick Fuentes flipped on Trump, or maybe even before this, but in any case, they've tried to keep those fractures, secret before the election, but the fractures have always been there, but they really came out once Trump had a chance to show you that he's not really going to do what he said. Like, he's not going to get out of foreign wars. He's going to stay the course, and he's not going to, all this other shit. The only thing he's going to do is maybe show you that he's chasing down immigrants, but he won't show you the data. He won't show you the numbers. At the same time, he promised you that the prices would go down, there would be more jobs, and you found out there's less jobs, and you found out the prices are going up. So that splintered his group. So, there's a lot of guys like this young man, right? Or is he I guess he was a young man at this time, right? He's still a little boy when you compare him to me. I mean, a male's body doesn't mentally become full. The brain doesn't become fully developed until they're like 27. On women or females, they say it's 25. So this guy wasn't that old. He's younger than that. So he wasn't fully developed. So I do have some empathy for him in that way. But it appears he's been radicalized online, in some of these private groups, and by people you just don't know who they are. You don't know who they are.
How to
not when you're talking to them always.
Fire an AR-15 as fast as possible, as well as how to make a fertilizer bomb and a Molotov cocktail. The New York Post also obtained video, it says, is of Crooks with a gun in his bedroom.
The American people can't handle the truth. What they can handle is being lied to.
Congressman Kelly.
Yeah, this totally sounds like we don't want to talk about the Epstein files anymore, so let's talk about this. They lied. They cover up that he was online and he got radicalized online. No shit, Sherlock.
He says members and staff.
This is like, you didn't know that? You didn't know that already? Like, where the fuck have you been?
of his task force are interested in reviewing these new revelations.
I do believe that on that day in Butler, Pennsylvania, everything that took place and the ultimate what took place, none of it had to happen.
And Kelly says on the Secret Service, he has faith they'll get these answers as they continue to have greater conversations with the agency. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt also addressed the new details to the New York Post on a podcast, saying she believes the president and the American public also want these questions answered. Ken.
All right. So, yeah. So here we go. Let me see here. It says, I wanted to know, because I already know this, but I just asked in ChatGPT so we can go over some of the resources of them warning people about this stuff, about this online activity, and warning people about a few different topics. Number one, white supremacist organizations online, right? And to me, it just seems like you either don't want to know. You know, a lot of people don't want to know. They say they want to know, but in reality, they don't really want to know. And yeah, let's take it from there. Hold on. Let me see. What do we got here? Let me go up. Let's see here. This is a normal thing. I mean, I've grown up in the United States of America, so I know this is always happening. I live in the EU. I know that this exists. I mean, there was a bomber in Breivik. He did it. I mean, I was living here when this attack in Norway happened, and it's sad. You know, it's pathetic because hate, this type of thinking, no matter where it comes from, you know, it's sad and it's pathetic. You shouldn't take things so far. You don't have to take things so far. And yet you will find people do, and people feel threatened. But let me tell you, if you're running around killing, thinking who you are is your color or something like that, and that color makes you superior, that's not a wise place to come from. You see what I mean? Now, of course, different people have different cultural things. A lot of times I think in the EU, people, one of the things they talk about is Muslims and Muslim culture, or they're afraid that it's taking over not necessarily Christian culture, but European culture, right? And you've heard people talk about it and discuss it before. It's come out a lot with these Charlie Hebdo magazines, this cartoons, you know, and these kind of things, and it's played out in the realm of freedom of speech, a lot of it, right? Where you hear people trying to figure out where the medium is with hate speech and free speech and these kind of things, right? A lot of it's been directed towards, I would say, Muslims and Middle Eastern people. A lot of it. Not only, though, there's also Roma people that are that, you know, have this, but it's pretty much Muslims and Middle Eastern people that it's, you know, most of the heightened thing is against. But when it comes to hate crimes across the EU, it's dealt out by many different groups. It's not one group that's dishing it out. You know, you might have a white supremacist Christian that might attack a Jewish cemetery, or you might have a Muslim one that attacks a cemetery. You might have a Christian nationalist or something like that attacks a Muslim. You might have a person that attacks somebody for being black. Every once in a while that happens. That's not so popular, but it happens sometimes, you know. But you also get anti-LGBT in Europe, even in Denmark, right? You will get some attacks like that. That's happened. Also anti-gender, anti-women assaults, you know, they have also been there. So there's a lot to talk about, but this thing, like the white supremacist or the white nationalist thing, has some real deep ties. And also in Sweden, there's been attacks and murders. A car was caught on fire. They don't know if it was a hate crime or not, but it was just mysteriously engulfed one of the politicians that had been getting death threats, and literally had someone try to kill him at his own home before, like real death threats. This stuff goes on, but it's not for the people that stay informed, like myself, right? I talk to people in the EU about hate crimes. I don't know how many of y'all know that. I don't talk a lot about it, but I was also a member of an organization here that combats discrimination, but that I co-founded. But you know, so I do have a network with that, even though I'm not really active right now in that. I've taken a pause some like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, after 7 years, you know what I mean? So I gave 7 years of my life. So it was worth it, but I learned a lot, and I got a huge network across Europe. So I got a lot of information through that network, quantitative and qualitative data on this subject. Right. But so due to that, I've always known that they're communicating on the internet. Everybody knows that. If you don't know that, you're a fool. But look, this lady, she's acting like she didn't know. Like nobody's been talking about it. But here it shows you FBI has been warning people about it. Look, FBI has expressed concern about radicalization via the internet, though their focus is more on open internet, social media, encrypted messaging, than explicitly saying people in the dark web, radicalizing Americans, right? At least in their most public statements, here's a breakdown of what the FBI has said, where the lines are and some caveats, right? What the FBI has warned about: online radicalization, open internet. The FBI is very clear. Homegrown violent extremists, people in the U.S. are often radicalized online. This is on the FBI's website. Let me click on it real quick so we can get the publishing date. Just for you people, this is 2015, y'all. Can you see that? I hope you do. So that was 2015. That's 10 years ago. Right? So this conversation goes back. Right? Who was in office here? This was Obama. So this is so you anti-Obama people don't even read this. This ain't for you. Because you prejudiced, so you don't want to know nothing that was done under the Obama administration, especially this, okay? Because it's not real to you. It's a hoax, right? But let's continue. Terror groups like ISIL use social media, high-quality propaganda videos. And again, this goes both ways. I mean, this is not, the web is, you could be radicalized as a Muslim, you could be radicalized as a Christian, you can be radicalized as a Christian nationalist, you could be radicalized as anything, a lot of different things. Here it is, right? Let's see here. ISIS through high quality propaganda, videos and private messaging platforms, they look for recruits, inspire, and to radicalize. Okay. That's also Federal Bureau of, where is this at? Yeah, 2016. This is another one from the FBI, right? So just in case you want to know, right? Again, this is not for people that hate Obama. You probably won't need this information, right? And your world is probably fake, right? In testimony, the FBI leaders have said that lone actors radicalized online are among the greatest threats. This is for you. This is Fox News that said it. Fox News said that. You see, this is probably more for the Obama haters, right? This is 2023. So look, this is before Trump. This is the year before Trump. Somebody took a shot at Trump. This is exactly 1 year before. Not exactly, but roughly. I mean, pretty much almost exactly. November 16th. So if you didn't know, now you know that they've been talking about this, and media people should pick up on this. I mean, why you didn't cover it like it was serious, I don't know. I don't work for CNN. I don't work for Sky News. I don't work for MSNBC. I think MSNBC probably talked about it, but these right-wing places, they didn't want to talk about it because it also mentions right-wing extremists. So that's why Sky News didn't get the memo. Okay, now going dark. Challenge the FBI. Challenge. Okay, going dark. The going dark challenge. I'm sorry. The FBI uses the term going dark for the problem where law enforcement can't access communications or data, even with a court order, because criminals use encryption, anonymizing tech, or hidden services. This one is on the FBI's website also. If you're interested, this is October 2016. Not for Obama or Kamala or Biden haters. Please, this might be like, garlic to a vampire. You don't want this. This possesses a risk for national security when communication moves into spaces that are very hard to monitor or investigate. It makes it more difficult for the FBI to stop plots, identify radicalization early. So there it is. Same thing. FBI. Here we go. 2015, July 8th. You see, they've written a whole lot about this. 2015, July 8th, October 16, 2014, November 16, 2023, July 6, 2016, back to that one, February 26, 2015. I mean, this ain't a new story. This is 2025. Okay, this is recent now. So there you have it. But there's more. The darknet and illicit use. In its worldwide threats testimony, the FBI has highlighted that darknet, e.g., Tor-based sites, are used for child sexual exploitation. That's for folks who don't know that. You know, this has been. I became aware of this maybe like 10 years ago. Yeah. So although they attract you with many different things, what's going on in the background could be serious crime. And you could be putting yourself in danger. You see, like literally, or your child in danger, or your spouse in danger, or a family member in danger, or your bank account in danger, or your identity in danger. But if that's your kind of thing, right? They see darknet as a safe haven for certain criminals, though their public statements. Oh, hold on 2 seconds. 2 seconds, y'all. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, what's up? What time is it? Yeah, meet me over there. Go ahead. Go ahead and leave. 13, what time? Yeah, I'll meet you there. Okay, bye. Yeah, thank you. Thank you about that. Sorry about the delay. Here we go. Now, right. Let's see here. Let me get back to this. They see the darknet as a safe haven. Oh, 1 second. Hold on. Hey, buddy. Yeah, 13:50. I'm going to be there. Okay, bye. Yeah, okay. They see the darknet as a safe haven. That was my son, by the way, one of my youngest son. Yeah, for those of y'all that want to know, they have children. Big up to the kids. They're the future. They see the darknet as a safe haven for certain criminals, though their public statements focus more on exploitation, like child pornography, rather than explicitly on extremist recruitment via darknet forms. Uncertainty around extremist use of the darknet. According to intelligent officials, as reported by news outlets, the government doesn't fully know how much extremists rely on dark space, highly encrypted or hidden parts of the internet for communication. Right, because if you can't crack into all the into the software, you don't know. That lack of visibility is something the FBI considers troubling because it limits how well they can monitor or intervene. Right. Interpretation. FBI concern is real. Okay, so let me see this. Let me just go to this. How many public statements in the last decade have the FBI made on this topic? Let me see here. Of course, that's not easy to know, but just to get a general sense. So people know. I mean, if you don't know, you need to watch. Look, if you're in Denmark, they just recently passed a new law about children accessing the internet, like straight up. That's how serious of an issue it is. And it's not just about radicalization either, but safety in general, disinformation and things like that. All right. So let me see here. Just to give people an idea. Let me see here. What does it say? Okay. Oh, wow. It seems to be. Yeah, well, you've seen it. I mean, come on, it's consistent. This isn't new. I mean, for those of you that follow up on this kind of topic in the U.S., and you're American or you watch U.S. television or news outlets, you've seen them talk openly over the news outlets about this. This isn't a new topic. It's been pretty well defined, although with the encryption and thing like that, I believe things like that, and the advent of social media becoming more popular, it's only exacerbated the issue. But James Comey talked about it in 2015. For those of you that want to know, yeah, this is insane. Actually, look at this. They talk about the use of terror, radicalization, and on other crime. 2018, Homeland Security, threats to Homeland. 2018 explicitly links homegrown violent extremists with the use of encrypted communication. So there you have it. I mean, Christian nationalists, they use this stuff, quote unquote, Christian nationalists, right? They use these communications. I mean, if you're an American, you know this. If you're in the know, maybe you're not in the know. So countering domestic terrorism 2021 mentions online radicalization plus use of encrypted communications. Yeah, so there's been also Muslims radicalized, right? All others, threats to the homeland. I mean, it's just an issue that is always there, and people just need to maybe take it more seriously. But how are you going to do that when the news media acts like, we didn't know? How come you didn't tell us? How come the Democrats didn't tell us about this? What? But in any case, y'all, I appreciate everybody coming out today. I got to go. Some things to handle before I head to bed. But I appreciate you coming out. Those of you that haven't subscribed before, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it a lot. Those of you that are, I appreciate that also. And for the viewers watching, I appreciate your time and your energy. And I hope you're getting something different out of it. Okay. Because I don't do the same thing every day. I like, outside of me doing this, I do a lot of other things too. And I like to always learn new things. So the stuff I don't like, I don't stick with. So those of you that really don't like it, you don't have to come. It's your own free will. There must be something here for even those folks that they like. Otherwise, I'm assuming if you like me, I wouldn't be spending my time on stuff I don't like too much, And if I'm going to do some activism, it's going to be out in the streets in the country that I live. You see what I mean? But in that case, big up to those of you that are out on the streets in the countries where you live, doing some activism in these times, particularly in the USA. Big up to everybody that's out there on the streets. Thank you for being a hero. You're my hero also. And if I was there in the situation where you were, I would be doing the same. I would be on the streets, and I would be on the streets with my camera. I would be engaging people, all Americans. I would be engaging. And yeah, because this really is the time to be about something, do something. Don't just complain. Be about making things better, and start with yourself. By the way, start with yourself if you don't know where to start. But on that note, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna catch up with you guys in 24 hours. I appreciate y'all. See ya. Release the Epstein files. You know what I'm saying? Release them files. 1.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. it's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, then I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble, the free world counterattack, and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't fear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Sometimes I think about, does love still exist? Yeah, I have my doubts. On the street, I check out how brothers be living. Yo, let's just say, kid, it ain't no Thanksgiving. We got people shooting dope, ain't never heard of hope. We got others with the gat and the brothers with the fucking scope. As I enter the project center rec rooms, some brothers might see the doom. I see my nigga fat pockets of papes. He knows the neighborhood biddies with all the dopest shapes. There goes Rollo with the blowout fro. He's got a gat, ayo, he's gots to go. No show is live with narrate, fuck Memorex. My nigga Rollo's got a gat at Paulo's chest. One slug blasted out, down boy died. Now show me some love, kid, it sounds like a fucking yes, you lie. Know the struggle goes on. People try to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong. Sometimes I think how the world come to this, a place place where every man and woman needs a therapist. Mass confusion, people living in delusion, justify all the bullshit through the Constitution. Meanwhile, the masses struggle to survive. I think we're too busy to hear our people's cries. Singles mothers struggle to raise families. Genocide committed through famine and disease. I wonder if these things will ever cease to exist. I know it could if we cease and desist. Giving all the power to the industrialists, giving all our power to the damn commercialists. They see us just as being sheep in this world. They want us to do what we're told, like boys and girls. Oh God, I wanna live another day so I can help provide equality and this yet, day. The struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. Though we know it's been so long, pain without a limit, so wrong. Everybody round the globe, open up your earlobe, your third eye, and then decipher the code. Through knowledge, understanding, then bring love into the concept instead of bling bling. Truth instead of biased educational methods, twisting, contorting God's message of love for every human being. Listen, motherfucker, don't you hear the screams? It's time to do much more than talk, debate, and spread hate. We need to think and at the same time investigate, understand what our actions may create. Before continuing the cycle we procreate. We can clone humans, but at the same time we can't feed humans. The future of man is actually looming. It's really depressing, it's true. And yes, you know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on.